For 45 years, heartbreak has plagued Falmouth. Since 1980, the Cape Cod crown has stayed just out of reach. And last season, the Commodores took a step backward.
2024 season comes to an end on a rainy night at Spillane Field as the Gatemen close it out and defeat the Commodores.
But this summer, everything changes. A new era begins at Fuller Field with a new voice in the dugout. 2013 World Series champion Jared Saltalamacchia is here to lead the charge.
Swinging a line, right base hit into left field. That's the ball game. The Red Sox have rallied to win game 2. They've won it. The Sox have won it 6-5. Jared Saltalamacchia with a walk-off base hit.
New leadership, new hunger, and one mission. Bring Cape Cod glory back to Falmouth. So wherever you are, sit down and get ready. The doors are on the air. This is Falmouth Commodores baseball, and it starts right now.
Hello and welcome to the 2025 Cape League season, where your Falmouth Commodores are just getting ready to start game 1 of 40. It's finally here, and from Chatham, Massachusetts, the Commodores take on the Chatham Anglers in opening day of 2025. Welcome into the season. I'm Ryan Martin, joined alongside by Andrew Delapiana. Andrew, opening day is finally here. After long await, that June 14th date finally appears on the calendar.
Not going to lie, walking into the ballpark today, you get a little sense of goosebumps, that feeling when you're a little league kid walking in to a candy shop for the first time and watching some baseball. We're going to watch some of the best guys all season here on the Cape, and just excited to do it with you, my friend.
Yeah, exactly, my friend. You'd be hard to find a better place. Maybe just the Gov would be ahead of it.
There you go.
Veterans Field in Chatham, Massachusetts, a beautiful location on a not-so-beautiful day here in mid-June. A very exciting time to be a Commodore fan, and we'll get into just why with that. We're joined by Ben Howler on the very first edition of Opening the Door. You are always in consistent Falmouth Commodores pregame show. This is what it sounded like pregame today.
Well, today we're opening up the door to a new era here at Veterans Field in Chatham. It's the Falmouth Commodores visiting the Chatham Anglers for Game 1 of the 2025 season. Ben Howler, that's Ryan Martin, Andrew Delapiana, and Ryan, this is a special, extra special opening day because it's game number 1 for Falmouth under new manager Jared Saltalamacchia.
Yeah, Ben, you said it perfectly. It's a new era for Falmouth Commodores baseball under 12-year MLB veteran Jared Saltalamacchia. Has experience in the Cape, most recently with the Bourne Braves, now comes over to Falmouth. It was a disappointing year last year for the Commodores, but if anyone can fix his team, how about 2013 World Series champion Jared Saltalamacchia? Excited to see his first game wearing the Commodores maroon.
Well, this is an interesting matchup for a lot of reasons. A lot of similarities between these two teams. One of them, what we just talked about, now Dennis Cook is a first-year manager for Chatham.
Yeah, it's interesting. We got 3 first league head coaches here in 2025. 2 of them facing off in opening night here between Chatham and Falmouth. For Dennis Cook, though, he is familiar here in Chatham. Spent 4 years with the Anglers from 2018 to 2022. Also a Tizzle veteran. He won a 1997 World Series back with the Florida Marlins. These are 2 managers that have experience managing before, but not the first time here on the Cape, my friend.
Yeah, 2 new managers a lot of times can be for different reasons, but these are 2 teams that struggled last year, both. Another similarity, Falmouth and Chatham. The Commodores specifically trying to bounce back after not making the 18 playoff out of 10 teams.
Yeah, it was a tough year at Gulf Fuller Field for Falmouth. 16, 23-1. That was the bottom team in the West Division last year. And you look at Chatham, exactly 500 in the regular season, going 20-20 before losing in that one game wild card to eventual champion Harwich Mariners. So both teams looking to bounce back, and we mentioned a couple World Series champions now leading both these teams.
The 2 gentlemen will have the call for this game. First pitch coming up at 7 o'clock here at Veterans Field.
Well, there you have it, our early season thoughts from your 2025 Falmouth Commodores broadcast team. Myself, Ryan, with Andrew and Ben. And speaking of Ben, we talked a little bit there with Ben about Jared Saltalamacchia, the first-year field manager, but 12-year MLB veteran. And Ben also pregame had a chance to talk with Coach Saltalamacchia himself. This is what that interview sounded like.
Today marks Game 1 of the 2025 Falmouth Commodores season, and also Game 1 under new head man Ben Howler alongside first-year manager Jared Saltalamacchia. Coach, everybody knows about Jared Saltalamacchia, the player. 12-year career as a catcher in the MLB. You're a World Series champion. What can you tell us about what can we expect from Jared Saltalamacchia, the manager?
Well, I mean, I hope that I consider myself a player's manager. I understand how hard this game is. I understand this game's humbling, so I want these kids to come out here and showcase their talents. Obviously, a lot of scouts here. These kids are are playing at the highest level that they can play at in the amateur status. But their goal is obviously to get to the big leagues, and hopefully I can help them get there.
We talked to you beforehand just about after you retired from the MLB, you kind of knew pretty soon that you wanted to come back into coaching, and you said college kind of called to you. What makes coaching college so special, and also this league?
I think it's the elite caliber of players. At the high school level, you've got a lot of young talent, but it's a lot of kind of, teaching them, a lot of coaching, trying to kind of teach them how to be a man almost in a sense. Not that you don't do that at the college level as well, but you've got elite caliber players out here that all have the same common goal. They listen, they're open. All of them are just wanting you to, teach them something. So that really got me going. My 4th year out here, I've had a blast every year.
So you've been an assistant for 3 years. Now is your first year as a manager. One of the biggest parts of that role is getting guys to come and building that roster. What's maybe one or two of your biggest things mindset-wise into building a roster for the summer?
Mindset-wise is obviously a lot different when I first started to what it is now. There's always constantly moving parts. A lot of the kids with the portal, with the draft, a lot of kids, this is the best of the best out here. So they all want to come out here and play. So you almost don't have enough spots. It never fails. You got 30 kids, and then last week before you get here, you got 30 more phone calls of kids. So, I want to stay loyal to the guys that want to be here, but obviously I understand that they all have something they have to do. So constant moving parts, being able to adapt, adversity, that's the name of the game.
Coach, I appreciate it. Good luck opening day.
Thank you.
There you catch the end of the national anthem here at Veterans Field in Chatham, Massachusetts, meaning we are just moments away from getting the 2025 Cape League baseball season started. It's the nightcap for a day packed of 5 opening day games within the Cape Cod Baseball League. Here in Chatham, they always start those home games at 7 p.m. Andrew Della Piana. So now Anglers, Commodores should be a good one on our hands.
A lot of great crowd, a lot of great people in on hand for a spectacular view that we have here today on a chilly night in Chatham. 58 degrees, it feels like 49 with the wind blowing out towards left field. So if a ball is put in the air in that area tonight, expect it to get out of the ballpark. But it feels like MLB weekend back in April when it's a chilly night, but you still get people packed in the seats.
Gotta remember, we might be on Cape Cod, but we're still in Massachusetts. We got quarter zips and khakis all on today, and sweatshirts around the ballpark. It's a cold one here. We didn't know this one would be getting off, but this one's off, so let's hear about the starting 9 for each team. Andrew Della Piana, how about we start with the Falmouth Commodores visiting, who's their first 9 of 2025.
First game as a manager for Jared Saltamacchia. He'll row Carlos Schmidt at first. Adrian Lopez batting second, Kent Schmidt batting third, David McCann in the cleanup spot, Mike Anu batting fifth, John Smith batting sixth, Justin Osterhaus batting seventh, Coleman Meisel in the 8th spot, with Antonio Morales rounding out the batting order for the Commodores.
Yeah, really interesting starting 9 under first-year field manager Jared Saltamacchia. Will have plenty more on that. For his counterpart, another first-year manager with Devin Cook. What's the 1 through 9 look like for the Anglers?
We'll see the Anglers bat for the first time, but Dennis Cook in his first year with Chatham, Ethan Mendoza, Jake Hanley, Henry Ford, Isaiah Lane, Daniel Jackson, Jackson Freeman, Noah Miller, Cole Johnson, Travis Sanders, with JT Quinn, the right-hander, getting the start tonight for Chatham.
Quinn out of Georgia. It's an SEC versus SEC battle now, with Ashman just recently transferring to Kentucky. Now, Quinn, the Bulldog, a rising senior, guy who came over from Ole Miss, so he's got plenty of SEC experience.
Absolutely does. Started his career at Ole Miss, and he was fantastic in his junior year down in Athens. Held opponents to a 184 batting average. That fastball we'll see in the mid-90s. It's in the mid-90s tonight, peaking at 98. He threw a fastball like that in late April. His slider, that's the put-away pitch. We'll see that in the mid-80s. The curveball in the upper 70s. Does have the changeup in his arsenal, but rarely uses it. And really, exclusively, he's a pitcher from the stretch, Ryan.
You mentioned making more appearances out of the bullpen than starts for the Bulldogs, and that's what you see in the motion there. It works exclusively out of the stretch, as we just saw him getting loose with his bullpen, with his battery mate, and Noah Miller. And how about Carl Schmidt for Falmouth, stepping into the right-handed batter's box. It's a righty on lefty. You get this going. The first pitch is away from Quinn. Strike taken on the inner third by Carl Schmidt, and we are underway in the 2025 Cape League season. A called strike for the California Golden Bear and third baseman Carl Schmidt to get this one started. Schmidt, a slow bat back over his right shoulder. No balls, one strike from Quinn. Strike taken right down Main Street by Schmidt. Second, that one will go just outside. Make it count 1 ball and 1 strike on Schmidt, who is coming to the Cape League. We were talking with him preseason. Schmidt, usually an outfielder for the Golden Bears, saying he really wants to get infield experience. Here he is leading off and getting the start at third base. Quinn looks down. The 1-1 delivery. Schmidt swings through. Breaking ball away. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes on the leadoff batter for Falmouth.
And Schmidt getting the start at third tonight. Was a primary and outfielder with Cal this season, but he's someone, a great utility guy you can use all over the infield.
Really says he wants to be with Falmouth to get better at third and second specifically. Down on the count now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. From the stretch, here's Quinn. It's a ball on the outer third again for Schmidt. It's count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The leadoff man for the Commodores. Up next, it's Adrian Lopez, another California boy. The USC shortstop waits on the on-deck circle. Quinn shakes off 2 signs from his battery mate, and mission catcher Noah Miller now delivers the 2-2. Swung and a miss, the drop third strike. Carl Schmidt will throw the bat, but Miller throws over to first base, where it's Jake Hanley waiting for him. First batter faced in the Cape this season. It's a first strikeout for Chatham's JT Quinn.
And that's a great pitch mix there from JT Quinn, where you change up the eye level mostly, where you start out with that slider to Schmidt that goes in the outer half, and then you bring out the looping breaking ball there in the dirt for strike 3.
Good battle there for Schmidt in the right-handed batter's box, where Adrian Lopez now stands a shortstop out of USC. First breakout from JT Quinn. He looks in quickly to the Trojan. Head down, pitch off for Quinn. Straight taken right down Main Street by Adrian Lopez. No balls, 1 strike. 1 gone in the top of the first inning. Still no score between Falmouth and Chatham. Just getting this one underway at Veterans Field. Quinn, a rising senior with the Bulldogs. 6'6", 210. You can see that big presence from the stretch. Delivers home the no ball, 1 strike pitch. This one spiked in the dirt right in front of forward left foot for Adrian Lopez. A ball, 1 strike. You want to talk about versatility? We talked about it with Carl Schmidt, but now right after him, it's Adrian Lopez. You can really put him at almost all 7 positions.
Tremendous player in the middle infield. He's someone that maybe could be utilized around the corners as well, and maybe he might even see some time in the outfield.
It's a start at shortstop today. The 1-1 from Quinn. Now on the first base line, this one's trailing out of play, and it will get right over the bleachers at the first base line, past the Commodores away dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We're already seeing early and often JT Quinn get ahead in the count, and that's what made him so dangerous this year with the Bulldogs. You get 49 strikeouts in 36 innings, that'll help.
2.75 ERA for Quinn at Georgia this past season. Just a 1-1 record overall across the 36 innings. Up in the count again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the delivery home. It's going to be on the ground over to the second baseman and Mendoza. 2 steps over and a throw over to Hanley in time. A simple 4-3 putout. 2 quick outs for Falmouth to lead off the 2025 season.
First baseman, Georgia Tech, number 10, Ken Schmidt.
So after 2 righties for Falmouth, comes up the first of 5 lefties in this lineup. It's the Georgia Tech first baseman, Kent Schmidt, into the left-handed batter's box. Guy with some serious power. See if he can be the first Commodore to get something off JT Quinn. Chatham pitcher. And the right-hander shakes off 2 signs before the first delivery home. Breaking ball in there for a strike. No balls, 1 strike. Now 2 gone in the top of the first, scoreless between Falmouth and Chatham. Kent Schmidt just finished up his first year of ACC play. For the Georgia Southern, Eagle became a Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket. Now sees the 0-1. It's on the ground over again to second with Mendoza. A couple hops, gets it, and throws it over first base with Hanley. Another simple 4-3 putout. JT Quinn retires them in order to get Chatham underway defensively. See what the Eagles bats can do for the first time in the 2025 season. Falmouth 0, Chatham 0. Bottom first coming up next. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Authentic Cape Cod dining is right down the road at Jim's Clam Shack. Open seasonally for over 50 years, Jim's Clam Shack features oceanfront views with all of the lobster, shrimp, burgers, and clams you could ask for. Stop by Jim's Clam Shack, located at 227 Quinton Avenue right here in Falmouth, to hit your next meal out of the park. That's Jim's Clam Shack at 227 Quinton Avenue, Falmouth.
After a quiet top of the first inning for Falmouth, the Commodores now take the field defensively for the first time in the 2025 season, going up against a Chatham team that finished exactly 500 in the 2024 regular season. Just like Falmouth, though, a first-year field manager. Now the Anglers look to do it with the bats here at home, Andrew.
And they got a good pitcher starting today with Caden Eichmann, the recent transfer Kentucky, leaving Northern Kentucky. And man, this guy has some really nasty stuff. Was top 10 in the country in strikeout percentage, over 35% this season. It's a guy that doesn't really throw too fast. You only see him in the low 90s to mid 90s at 93, but his accuracy right in his breakout pitch and his strikeout pitch with the curveball, that is a really impressive part of his game.
A lot of drop on that curveball, 1 of 5 pitches that Eichmann. Now, the Kentucky Wildcat will throw. I think they started off against Texas second baseman Ethan Mendoza. Mendoza with a bright red bat into the right-handed batter's box against Eschman. Look over, first pitch from Eschman. Ball upstairs on Mendoza, the Longhorn second baseman. Just watches it into the net, 1 ball, no strikes. Mendoza leading things off here. You see the Longhorn glove mitt in the right-handed back pocket. There's already a quick pitch comm error for the Commodores with Eschman and his battery mate, the catcher from Virginia Tech, David McCann. Seems to be all figured out for Eschman. Like JT Quinn, works exclusively from the stretch. Righty on righty matchup. 1 ball, no strike delivery from Eschman. Strike on the outer third for Mendoza. 1 ball, 1 strike. Anglers' leadoff man getting the 2025 season underway for Chatham with the bats in their hands. I'll look for Eschman. The 1-1, spiked in the dirt for a ball. 2 balls, 1 strike up against Mendoza, the rising junior from Texas. His first year of SEC play, Andrew, after coming over from Arizona State.
And making a huge blast as well for a Longhorns team that was one of the best in the SEC. They won the regular season championship.
2-1 from Eschman. Check swing from Mendoza does not go around. A quick look over at first place umpire Ryan Damari. Did not go around on it though. So the first hitters count we see tonight, 3 balls, 1 strike for, again, a really good Longhorn.
Mendoza leading the team in average hits, triples, multi-hit games, you name it. He was probably leading the team offensively for the Horns.
Division I Central All Regions second team, the 3-1. It's upstairs for ball 4 and inside on Mendoza. First base runner we see is the leadoff man for Chatham. Mendoza gets on with the 5-pitch walk. From righty to lefty. And a big one and that. Jake Hanley at 6'6", 235. Rising sophomore first baseman from Indiana. Into the left-handed batter's box against Eschman. Mendoza leads off of first base in this scoreless affair between Falmouth and Chatham in the bottom of the first. Eschman looks over before the first pitch to Hanley. To strike taken on the outer third. No balls, 1 strike. Hanley from Mason High School in Mason, Ohio. Mentioned that big build for the 19-year-old. Ishman delivers home. No ball, one strike pitch. Outside to the right-handed batter's box, and the lefty swinging. Hanley doesn't offer at it. One ball, one strike now. It was a modest lead off of first base with Commodores first baseman Ken Schmidt keeping him on. The 1-1. Strike again on the outer third. That time it's Ashman delivers home. Pitch on the cutter. 1 ball, 2 strikes, still no one gone in the bottom of the first. Slow bat over the left shoulder of Hanley. 1-2, swung through, the first strikeout for Caden Ashman. Slows it down there and gets Hanley to go around for it. It's a swinging strikeout for Caden Ashman.
And that's what makes Ashman so dangerous, is he really has a lot of options when he does have 2 strikes, whether it's that fastball, that curveball, or even that cutter. See it on the high fastball right there.
And he'll need it now against a right-hander. And Henry Ford in the transfer portal, former Virginia Cavalier. First pitch to Ford, upstairs for ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Now 1 gone in the bottom of the first inning. Henry Ford, the right-handed batter's box with Ethan Mendoza off of first base. Ford, a name well known across college baseball as one of the top names in the transfer portal. So he goes after UVA. 1 ball, no strikes. It's upstairs and inside again on Ford. Make it 2 balls, no strikes. Ford will have plenty of options of suitors he could go to next spring, Andrew.
I don't really know if he'll be at another college. He might be in Major League Baseball in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
MLB.com's number 73 prospect at the moment.
2-0 to Ford. Big swing and a miss on the cutter against Henry Ford. Make the count 2 balls, 1 strike. Gone in the bottom of the first. Charlottesville native. Stayed for his hometown and dominated at Virginia. Team that just missed the NCAA tournament though. 2-1, fouled back out of play. Down the first baseline, well into the stands. Kids who are excited about opening day Cape League baseball go race for it behind the Commodores' dugout down the first baseline. Still scoreless between Falmouth and Chatham to open up the 2025 Cape League season. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 gone now against Henry Ford in center field tonight. 2-2, curveball, and freezes him for a strikeout. How about that 12-6 drop from Caden Ashman? His second strikeout, second out of the day for Chatham.
Henry Ford completely fooled in the rider's batting box. That started up at his letters perfectly. He stepped out for a moment because he thought he was going to get hit. Then it breaks off the last moment. That 12-6 curve, just like the hands on the clock.
So dangerous for the newest Kentucky Wildcat. Just recently announced his commitment. Now the cleanup hitter. Isaiah Lane into the right-handed batter's box. First delivery from Eshman. Big swing and a miss from the San Diego shortstop. No balls, 1 strike with now 2 gone in the bottom of the first. Chatham looking to be the first team to play to run here. This opening day league action. But the atmosphere here, you see the big American flag hanging the fire truck in right center field. And that's where it looked like Lane was trying to aim for that one. 0-1 delivery, just outside. An appeal on a check swing from Lane. Again, first base umpire Ryan Damari says he didn't go. Your other 2 umpires today calling the balls and strikes. It's Mike Hinojosa behind the dish, and at third base it's Joe Granino. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ashman delivers. Strike again on the inner third. No bat off the right shoulder of Isaiah Lane. Make the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ashman starting to work ahead in these counts. Look down at his battery mate David McCann. He's got first-year field manager and 12-year MLB catcher Jared Saltamakia calling the signals right at the bottom of the dugout. Look and throw over to first base, but Ethan Mendoza slides in safely. No tag even applied by first baseman Ken Schmidt. Just about a 2-step lead for the Texas Longhorn and Ethan Mendoza, who has that burnt orange sliding mitt on his right hand. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery from Ashman. Another strikeout swinging. This time he gets Lane to go around. 3 outs, 3 strikeouts for Caden Ashman in his first inning of Cape League play. It's no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base for Chatham. It's a scoreless first, and we'll see what the Falmouth Bats can do when they're back up at the top of the second. We're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Top of the second inning here from Veterans Field in Chatham, Massachusetts to kick off the 2025 Cape League season. Falmouth Commodores and Chatham Anglers still scoreless after the first. It's 4-5 and 6-2 up for Falmouth against Chatham right arm JT Quinn. I'll get started for the Commodores with catcher David McCann, the lefty from the cleanup spot. And Virginia Tech Hokie wearing his orange and gray batting helmet. First pitch from JT Quinn to the lefty. His swing and drive to left field by McCann. Going back on it is the left fielder Daniel Jackson. Puts his glove up and he'll drop the ball. Drop the ball right ahead of the warning track. David McCann just watches it and he'll go over to second base on the error. It's a play you don't see too often at this level of baseball, but first day and opening day for everyone. Daniel Jackson commits that costly error that now has David McCann off of second base.
That ball flying a little bit further than I thought out towards left field. Isaiah Lane, the shortstop, was backing up. Looked like he was originally calling everyone off, saying that's my ball. Then that went a lot deeper. It was a couple steps short of the warning track, but Daniel Jackson has been a sure-handed guy. Only 3 errors this season. That's a pretty costly one.
Certainly is. It gives Falmouth its first base runner, David McCann, in scoring position at second base for Micah New, the Marshall center fielder from the right-handed batter's box. Righty on righty now. McCann leads off of second. Look over from JT Quinn. Now delivers the first pitch to New. Big swing and a miss on the changeup. No balls, 1 strike. 1 gone on the top of the second in this scoreless affair between Falmouth and Chatham. JT Quinn's teammate, actually, fellow Bulldog, and Daniel Jackson in left field. Just had it tip off his tan glove. Over from Quinn. Delivers the 0-1. This one spiked in the dirt. Gets past the catcher in Noah Miller. David McCann will take the extra 90 feet, get over to third base, make the turn before staying there. So between the error and the wild pitch, it's now David McCann just 90 feet away at third base. No one gone in the top of the second from being our first run of the game.
Chatham was one of the more sure-handed defensive teams just a season ago, only committing 34 errors. That was the least amount in the Cape Cod League, but a couple of issues early on here in the second.
A lot of turnover with this Chatham team, just as there is with Falmouth under first-year manager Jared Saltzlamakia. Anglers counter with first-year field manager Devin Cook, the 1-1 home. Strike on the changeup again, going back to the well is JT Quinn. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 gone. Center fielder in Micah New. Spent his first year at Marshall after transferring over from New Orleans. 14 homers, 46 RBI for Marshall. Right, just 6'1", 180. Size 1-2 to New is a ball low and away. It's the outfielder, makes the count even again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rising senior guy who's looking to increase his draft prospects as so many of his classmates are here in the Cape League. Also trying to drive in Falmouth's first run of the season with McCann at third. The 2-2. Big swing and a miss for New, comes up empty on the swinging strikeout. Second strikeout today for the Georgia righty and JT Quinn.
Just a good-looking slider that starts in at the hitter, then breaks off at the last moment, where you think you're going to get that inside pitch and drive it down the left field line if you're new the righty, but doesn't work so.
7 outs so far combined between these two teams, and 5 have been for strikeouts. Now bring up the right-hander John Smith. First pitch to Smith. It's a strike on the inner third of the plate. No balls, 1 strike with 1 gone. The top of the second inning. John Smith in the transfer portal now after a great season at South Alabama, originally starting his career at Pensacola State. And David McCann, the Hokie, 90 feet away at third base. 0-1 to Smith. This ball inside and low on Smith. 1 ball and 1 strike. Falmouth 0, Chatham 0. What's becoming the primetime game of the 2025 Cape League opening day. This one getting started at 7 o'clock as the rain holds off. Long look in from Quinn and delivers the 1-1. Check swing from Smith and doesn't go around on the pitch, low and away. Breaking ball works just outside for Quinn. 2 balls, 1 strike now. Smith had that big first homer for Falmouth in its scrimmage on Thursday. 2-1, keeps the bat on the shoulders for a strike inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And it was funny after that one, head coach Jared Saltzlamakia said the wind was blowing out a little bit more that day, so in most ballparks, that one's not going to get out. He didn't credit his hitter so much.
It's deep left center field, at least 360. 2-2. It's a big swing and a miss again for John Smith. A strikeout for Smith after the strikeout from New. 2 Ks in a row for JT Quinn. That's strikeout number 3 and a big second out in the top of the second.
And how about 96 on that fastball from Quinn? We've said it a lot at the earlier part of this broadcast there. When he gets that fastball pumping, it touches in at 98 at its highest point.
Bulldog with some heat. And needs it now against fellow SEC bat. Here's Justin Osterhaus, the lefty, with a big first swing and a miss on the pitch from JT Quinn. No balls, 1 strike, 2 gone in the top of the second, where Falmouth and Chatham still scoreless. Osterhaus announces transfer to the University of Alabama on June 7th, exactly a week ago. Now the Crimson Tide, slow bat over the left shoulder. 0-1 from Quinn. It's ball outside and away on Osterhaus. 1 ball, 1 strike now. On the lefty, swinging second baseman. Now you can really play all over. The infield has some outfield experience as well. More on Osterhaus and his great accomplishments at Purdue Fort Wayne this past season, a team now without a baseball program due to budget cuts. McCann off of third base. Here's the 1-1. Check swing from Osterhaus. Did he go around? Appeal over to third base umpire, and they said that he did. Call made there from Granino. 1 ball, 2 strike now to Osterhaus. Osterhaus, the first position player to commit in Alabama's incoming transfer class. Guy who could really make a nice middle infield pairing with Justin LeBron after his 18 homers last season. LeBron playing today with the Harwich Mariners in the Cape. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Osterhaus. It's a ball outside from Quinn. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 gone now in the top of the second. Osterhaus showing some of that patience. And anything on the shallow outfield grass would bring McCann home from third base, give the Commodores its first run of the season. The 2-2. Ball spiked in the dirt. Good stop there from the backstop and Noah Miller. Michigan Wolverine gets out in front of it before his defensive counterpart in David McCann has any idea of scurrying home.
Also, one of the tougher aspects of playing summer ball, you don't have that chemistry right away between pitcher and catcher, but it looks like Miller and Quinn have been on the same page early on.
Miller had that pitch get by him, which allowed McCann to go from second and third and now be just 90 feet away. The scoreboard is all lit up for Justin Osterhaus. Full count with 2 gone in the second. And it's a called strike 3 from Quinn. Good delivery on that 12-6 drop. The curveball freezes up Osterhaus. It's 3 consecutive strikeouts for JT Quinn. Falmouth scores no runs on no hits, 1 error and 1 left on base. That's David McCann off of third base. Falmouth still unable to plate its first run of the season, and now they take the field as Chatham gets ready to go here. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Whether you own a car, home, business, or investment property, it's critical you keep it secure and protected. Since 1989, our friends at Northeast Insurance Solutions have been the trusted insurance agency to serve the Commonwealth. Visit them on the web at insurewithnortheast.com or at their offices, 100 Ledgewood Place in Rockland.
Outfield/utility from Maryland University, and you're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Bottom of the second, in the scoreless contest between Chatham and Falmouth. 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Anglers. Get started with David Jackson. First pitch to Jackson from Caden Eschman is a ball on the outer third. Eschman did a good job in working through a leadoff walk in the bottom of the first. Walk and then 3 straight strikeouts is how we get to the 5th batter in the left fielder, Daniel Jackson. The 1-0 is a strike on the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike to Daniel Jackson. Andrew trying to make up for that error we saw in left field last half inning.
Yeah, luckily JT Quinn goes 3 consecutive strikeouts to get him out of the frame. You have to do a little bit of work by yourself sometimes when your field has put you a little bit of a jam.
Ashwin, the righty working quickly. The 1-1. Ball outside onto the left-handed batter's box. Righty swinging. Georgia Bulldog Daniel Jackson doesn't offer at it. 2 balls, 1 strike. Lead off the bottom of the second with Jackson. Here's Eschman, the 2-1. Strike on the inside. Again, Eschman going for that slider, the cutter pitch that's really worked well for him. It's been 3 consecutive strikeouts for Eschman. Does he have a 4th? The righty from the stretch, the 2-2. And this one will hit Jackson on the forward left leg. It's a hit by pitch. That puts, again, for the 2nd consecutive inning to start this one off, the Chatham Angler leadoff hitter aboard.
Now batting for the Anglers, the right fielder from Northwestern, number 49, Jackson Freeman.
It was a walk to Ethan Mendoza to lead off the first, and now a hit by pitch to Daniel Jackson to lead off the second for Caden Eschman. Other than that, it's been 3 strikeouts on 3 batters faced. Now what does he have against the Northwestern right fielder, Jackson Freeman, the lefty, in the 6th spot. Ashman takes a look over at first before the first pitch. Strike low for Ashman. No balls, 1 strike against Jackson Freeman, who had a sensational sophomore season in Evanston. Working for a Northwestern team that really impressed many this season. Looks down, the 0-1. There's a ball that runs inside on Freeman, gets away from the catcher, David McCann, for a moment, but there was no shot that Daniel Jackson would take off from first base, and he'll head back over there. McCann gets it back to Eschman. 1 ball, 1 strike. And this 0-0 game so far between Falmouth and Chatham. Slow blue and red gloves for Freeman. The 1-1. It's going to be chopped at by Freeman over into left field. Taking a few steps back to his right is John Smith, puts up the black glove on his left hand and pulls down the first out in the bottom of the second, with Daniel Jackson retreating back to first base. Fly out over to left.
Second straight half inning where we've seen a ball not hit well out to left field, but I'd say shallowly poked. Well, the left fielder, whether it's Smith or Jackson out there and left, you got to back up a little bit to make the play.
And that wind blowing in from right center field is starting to carry that ball towards the track. Here's Noah Miller. First pitch to Eschman. No, runner goes. And the pitch down is well late on the ball that was thrown from Eschman. So 1 ball, no strikes, but a stolen base, the first of the season for Chatham. It belongs to Daniel Jackson as he's now off of second base. Ashman delivering home the curveball there. Made it difficult for McCann to try to throw out Jackson at second. Now looks over the 1-0. Again, spiked in front for McCann for a ball. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 gone in the bottom of the second inning. Ashman starting to be a bit more wild with McCann. Again, you mentioned that battery mate chemistry still working out. The first game of the 2025 Cape League season. Jackson off for second. Miller in the righty batter's box, the 2-0. Strike upstairs on down the middle to Miller. 2 balls, 1 strike. As Ashman looks down on his pitch comm on the left hand again, getting the call from David McCann behind the plate. Ashman quick in the stretch while looking over at Jackson at second. Now spins ahead and delivers the 2-1. Runs outside and away on Miller. 3 balls, 1 strike. 1 gone to the Michigan Wolverine, Noah Miller. Can relate to some of the chemistry problems that McCann is seeing with Eschman right now after catching J.T. Quinn the last 2 innings. Couple pitches going wild. Hitters count now, though. 3-1. This one is swing from Miller over to left field this time. It's Smith who takes a few steps to his left to pull down the second out of the inning. That one looked like it would send Smith back a few steps. Instead, he just takes a few steps towards his left. 2 putouts in the second, both by John Smith.
The designated hitter from Austin P, number 10, Cole Johnson.
Daniel Jackson retreats over to second base where he'll now stand with 2 outs, and Cole Johnson, the Austin P designated hitter, comes into the right-handed batter's box for this righty-on-righty matchup. Caden Eschman takes a look over at him. 31 pitches for Eschman so far, 17 for strikes. First pitch delivery is going to be fouled just over towards the Commodores' dugout down the first base line. It's the protective netting in front of Commodores players and coaches. No balls, 1 strike. 2 gone, retired for Chatham in the bottom of the second. Still scoreless here from Veterans Field. Cole Johnson, slow tan bat over his right shoulder. Daniel Jackson stays in scoring position at second. 0-1, it's a curveball, swung on and missed there by Johnson. That 12-6 break, so definitive for Caden Eschman.
76 miles per hour. Johnson was about a second in front of it.
No balls, 2 strikes. Eschman looks to get out of the inning. Ball upstairs, that one won't end the second just yet. Chin music there against Cole Johnson. 3 strikeouts for Eschman in the first, then 2 putouts for Smith. Get the strikeout here. The 1-2. It's fouled back, spoiled into the home plate netting by Johnson. He stays alive with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Eschman working quickly. A guy who's looking to see his name called in the June draft. How can he get out of jams like this with runners in scoring position? The 1-2. Again, upstairs and away against Cole Johnson. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 gone in the bottom of the second inning. Base runners hard to come by so far. Chatham has one with Daniel Jackson off of second. Again, the 2-2. Swing and a miss. This one's in the dirt. McCann picks it up. It's a strikeout. Throws over to Schmidt at first base. And that's the strikeout that Caden Eschman was looking for. Schranz Jackson at second. And it's still what we will do. The 4th strikeout of the game so far as well for Eschman. It's no runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base for Chatham. Falmouth still with an opportunity to take the first lead in this game. We're still scoreless between the Commodores and the Anglers. When we come back in the top of the 3rd inning, you're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Top of the 3rd inning, still scoreless from Veterans Field in Chatham, Massachusetts. Falmouth 0, Chatham 0, with 8-9-1 due up for the Commodores against JT Quinn, who could not be phased in the top of the 2nd inning. 3 batters faced, 3 strikeouts. Now Coleman Mizell looks to do differently from the right-handed batter's box. First pitch to Mizell. Check that. The lefty swinging. Mizell watches a strike into the glove. No balls, 1 strikes against the Crimson Tide designated hitter. The spot where Mizell really shined for Rob Vaughn last season. No ball, 1 strike delivery from Quinn. Just strike right on the outer third. No balls, 2 strikes now to Mizell. Quinn working efficiently. The 6'6", 235-pound right-hander has been dealing thus far for the Anglers. Looks in, the 0-2. It's a called strike 3 against Mizell. Again, working that outer third, slowing it down there was Quinn. How about the 4th consecutive strikeout and the 5th overall for the Georgia Bulldog, JT Quinn?
Just getting ahead in counts, but Coleman Mizell, that second pitch almost identical to the third one as well. You know that's going to be a strike there on the outer half. You got to get a piece of wood on that and give yourself another chance up there.
So from one lefty to another, here's Antonio Morales, the right fielder today. First pitch to Morales. It's a strike. Again, working that outer third of the plate is JT Quinn. Morales just watches that one into the glove. The newest Maryland Terrapin as of last night. Congratulations to Antonio Morales on that transfer into the Big Ten. Played his first 2 seasons at Wake Forest. Put up a lot of good stats there. Over 40 starts with the Demon Deacons. The 0-1. This one spiked for a ball right in front of Morales. Lefty swing. Morales has to pull his lead right foot back to avoid getting hit. 1 ball, 1 strike. With 1 gone in the top of the 3rd inning, still scoreless. This opening day action between Falmouth and Chatham.
And a Maryland program that's still trying to regain some strength after the last couple of years.
Yeah, certainly. We were just talking about Mizell, batter before, under head coach Rob Vaughn. 1-1 pitch. This one is swing and over to first base, where it's pulled over by Jake Hanley, throws over to Quinn, and it's a quick 3-1 put out for the Terp and Antonio Morales. Now 2 gone in the top of the 3rd inning. But Vaughn makes that move from Maryland to Bama. Now his associate head coach Matt Swope just finished up his 2nd year in College Park. Still, you're right, just trying to get their footing. Terps just missing the Big Ten tournament. Morales will look to change Terps' fortune in 2026. Back to the leadoff man. Here's Carl Schmidt into the right-handed batter's box against the righty Quinn. First pitch, big swing and miss there from the California Golden Bear and Schmidt. No balls, 1 strike, 2 gone in the top of the 3rd inning. Just 1 base runner thus far for the Commodores. As every Falmouth batter has gotten up once, it was David McCann who reached on the error in left field by Daniel Jackson. No balls, 1 strike from Quinn. Schmidt swings and misses through. Breaking ball again from JT Quinn. No balls, 2 strikes. And again, we've mentioned how efficient JT Quinn has been. He's 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. Strikeout swing for Carl Schmidt. The first of 5 strikeouts that Quinn has thrown. Does he have another here? No balls, 2 strikes. Schmidt swings and misses on that identical pitch again. JT Quinn has had success going for it on back-to-back pitches. It's the fifth strikeout in the last 6 batters for JT Quinn, and the 7th strikeout overall. He simply put this one as no runs on no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. Commodores retired in order, and now Falmouth has to take the field again for the bottom of the 3rd inning. Falmouth 0, Chatham 0, as you're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
The 99 Restaurant and Pub is proud to be a sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League this summer. Visit your local 99 and try their famous colossal lobster rolls, piled high on grilled brioche and served either hot and buttered or with just the right amount of mayo and celery to go along with the fries and coleslaw. Visit your local 99 restaurant this summer today. You gotta love the Nines.
Bottom of the third inning now at Veterans Field between Chatham and Falmouth. Opening day Cape League action for the 2025 season, and this one is flying by. Just a combined 3 base runners overall. Here's Chatham sending up 9-1-2 against newest Kentucky right-hander and Caden Eschwin. Gets started with the third baseman Travis Sanders to see himself in the right-handed batter's box for the first time today. First pitch from Eschwin. Strike on the inside against the Baylor Bear in Travis Sanders. Eschwin working well so far. 2 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts. 22 strikes on 38 overall pitches. The 0-1. This one's swing and fouled back by Sanders to the home plate netting right down the first baseline. No balls, 2 strikes to get the bottom of the third started. Only 2 base runners for Chatham have both been the leadoff man. Can the Anglers do it for the 3rd consecutive inning with Sanders? The 0-2. Big swing and a miss from Sanders, comes up empty-handed. Strikeout number 5 for Caden Eschwin. This one's been a pitcher's duel with not a lot of balls even in play. Also the 2nd consecutive strikeout for Eschwin.
I'll tell you, no matter what team you're a fan of, it's been a lot of fun watching these two just kind of deal and get ahead in counts and find that put-away pitch, whether it's a 95-mile-per-hour fastball from J.T. Quinn or a beautiful-looking slider from Caden Eschwin. We've seen it all so far.
First pitch from Eschwin to, again, the leadoff batter, spiked in the dirt, a ball to Ethan Mendoza. The second baseman walked and was one of only 2 base runners thus far in this game for the Anglers, as we mentioned. Walked, that was stranded at first for the Texas Longhorn. 1 ball, no strikes to Mendoza. From the stretch, here's Eschwin. Eschwin delivers a ball inside on Mendoza. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 gone in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Noticing how quickly Eschwin is working. Again, a guy who's usually come in a relief role from Northern Kentucky before the transfer. The 2-0. Big swing and a miss on the curveball by Mendoza. Make the count 2 balls, 1 strike.
And it's one of the advantages I'm seeing pitchers use a lot more nowadays of speeding up hitters, using the pitch clock to their advantage, where you're not taking all 20 seconds to fire home. You're making the speeder quick, make their timing a little bit quicker. 2-1
turns into a 2-2 on another swing and miss. This one's upstairs in the outer third on Mendoza. Eschwin, the 2-2. This one barely tapped at by Mendoza. It's fouled back over the first baseline. Keep the count the same. 2 balls, 2 strike. 1 gone in the bottom of the 3rd. Mendoza, we already mentioned his great year he had for the Longhorns, all-region 2nd team in the Central Division. 2-2. Ball inside on the breaking ball. That curveball again. It's just a 12-6 straightaway drop from Eschwin. That one can't clip the zone. Runs the count full on Ethan Mendoza. 3-2 with 1 gone in the bottom of the 3rd. Eschwin looking to avoid walking Mendoza for the 2nd time. The full count pitch. Big swing and a miss on the curve again. It's the Falmouth pitcher giving a Chatham batter a taste of the Chatham medicine as strikeout number 6 for Caden Eschwin. He goes for the curveball, doesn't get it clipped there, Andrew, and goes back to it to strike out Mendoza.
Just changing the eye level, it's simple as that, where you have the breaking ball below the knees, then you think as a batter you have to stay low in the zone for that strikeout pitch, then you come upstairs with some high heat.
Speaking of those strikeouts, the first one came against Jack Hanley. IU batters now into the left-handed batter's box and fouls back a pitch late. On the first pitch he sees over to the Anglers' dugout. Scoreless between Falmouth and Chatham is now the Indiana first baseman sees a no ball, 1 strike count. That wind really blowing in from right field, right past the right field foul pole. The 0-1. Curveball that doesn't get anywhere near the zone, and it's David McCann who has to jump to his feet to catch that one for Eschwin. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 gone now for the 6'6" first baseman in Jack Hanley. A lot of chewing gum on as well for Caden Eschwin on the mound. And then before delivering home the 1-1, it's a strike there. Again, it's Eschwin who's been so efficient with 2 gone in the inning. 1 ball, 2 strike to Hanley. Eschwin, glove of the belt, kicks and deals the 1-2. Ball that runs inside on Hanley. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 gone in the bottom of the third. Just 2 base runners in this game for Chatham. And just 1 on a error for Falmouth earlier. Here's a 2-2. This one swing and chopper down the first base line to Ken Schmidt. He'll pick it up and touch first himself for the third and final out in the third inning. For the second straight inning, or the third straight inning for Chatham, it's no runs, no hits, no errors. The only difference in this one, it's no one left on base as the Anglers get retired in order in the bottom of the third. This one is flying by from Veterans Field as the pitchers are having their way. No score between Falmouth and Chatham. We'll talk to you in the top of the fourth inning. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
I'm Adrian Lopez, an infielder from University of Southern California, and you're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
On the base pass between Falmouth and Chatham, now into the top of the fourth inning where 2, 3, and 4 look to test the Georgia right-hander and Chatham angler JT Quinn. Here's Adrian Lopez, the right-handed shortstop from USC. Can he deliver the first hit in this game for either team? First pitch to Lopez. It's a check swing from Lopez. First played up, first base umpire, and Ryan Damari says he does not go around. 1 ball, no strike to lead off first inning. Andrew, crazy that we haven't even seen a hit here through 3 full innings.
I mean, you're really surprised with how well Eichmann and Quinn have been battling at this moment?
They've been dealing. Here's Quinn on the 1-0. Big swing and a miss. He can slow it down there on the slider. Again, 1 ball, 1 strike now to Adrian Lopez.
A combined 12 strikeouts between these two, and we've already seen, what, only 18 outs? You do the math.
Not great at that, but I know that's not really good for
No, that's a
either
cliche.
team's
Don't
hitters.
use the cliche.
1-1. It's a ball on the outside for Adrian Lopez, who grounded out over to his second baseman, Ethan Mendoza, in his first ups in the first inning. 2 balls, 1 strike now to the Trojan. That positional versatility will be so important for head field manager Jared Saltalamacchia. The 2-1 now from Quinn. Swing and a miss again on the slider to Lopez. Might have gotten a piece of it before the catcher Noah Miller pulled it into the glove. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. So Lopez leading off this inning for Falmouth. After him, it'll be the Georgia Tech first baseman Kent Schmidt. 2-2 home from Quinn. Again, at similar location, same result, another strikeout for Quinn as Adrian Lopez goes fishing and comes up empty. How about strikeout number 7 for JT Quinn? Seven strikeouts for Quinn. And 5 in the last 6 batters faced as Kent Schmidt, the first baseman from Georgia Tech, have the same results here now with 1 gone in the top of the 4th inning. First pitch to Schmidt. To strike right down Main Street against Georgia Southern transfer towards Georgia Tech. Talked to him about that move to Georgia Tech as he now faces a no ball, 1 strike count. Said it was really just about the pitchers that he faced day in and day out made that difference. 0-1 from Quinn. Schmidt watches another pitch that just right down the middle. Again, those changing speeds from Quinn is why he's able to be so effective here today.
Now with a chance to play under legendary head coach Danny Hall as well, who just retired after 35-plus seasons at Georgia Tech. An absolute legend in the game of college baseball.
That's exactly the word that Schmidt used to describe him. 0-2 is fouled into the catcher's mitt for a strikeout. Schmidt falls victim to the K again by JT Quinn. Second out in the top of the fourth inning. How about strikeout number 8 so far for JT Quinn?
And it's just effortless as well. It's only taking about 4 or 5 pitches. We haven't seen a lot of long, continuous at-bats. 8-9 pitches from this Chatham hitters. It's guys that have been up there for about 90 seconds, and it's back to the dugout.
8 strikeouts. The first pitch now to David McCann. Slasher that finds his way into the zone. No balls, 1 strike. 2 gone on top of the fourth inning as we're still scoreless between Falmouth and Chatham. Mentioned the 8 strikeouts from the Georgia Bulldog and JT Quinn. He's done it just on 45 pitches. That was 46 on the first strike to McCann. The 0-1 now to the Hokie. It was the same pitch, dropping slider, and the same result. No balls and 2 strikes now as McCann down in the count. And could be the second inning tonight we see JT Quinn retiring the side. Striking out the side too, and that. Did it in the second, can he do it in the fourth? No balls, 2 strikes to David McCann. McCann swings at it, it goes off the glove of Quinn before heading to the second baseman in Mendoza. Flips it over to the first baseman in Hanley. Off the first baseman, off the pitcher, the second baseman picks it up. It's not a strikeout, but it does the job for JT Quinn. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base for the Commodores, who are retired in order for the 3rd consecutive inning. Commodores now take the field, and Anglers take the bats in the bottom of the 4th. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball on opening day 2025 on Cape League TV. Bottom of the 4th in this scoreless pitcher's duel between Falmouth and Chatham to open up the 2025 Cape League season. 3, 4, and 5 due up against Falmouth right-hander and Kentucky Wildcat Caden Eschman. It's Henry Ford, Isaiah Lane, Daniel Jackson to face the Wildcat. Henry Ford, the big imposing figure, into the right-handed batter's box against Eschman. First pitch from Eschman, swing and a miss right down Main Street on the curveball by Eschman. No balls, 1 strike to lead off the bottom of the 4th. Henry Ford might be the most noticeable players for Chatham this season, both height and what he's done this season. This one's ripped down the third base line. It'll be inside the line for a fair ball. Ford rounds third as Smith gets it back into the infield. We'll take the turnaround second. It's a leadoff double to start the 4th inning for Henry Ford, and it's the first hit of the game that finally comes for either one of these 2 teams, Andrew.
Eichmann missing with a pitch right over the middle, and Henry Ford, one of the most polarizing figures you're going to see in the Cape League this season. But hold on just a moment, Ryan. The umpires coming together just to the right of Eichmann on the mound. Have a conversation about this.
And they'll
uphold the call.
Keep it a double. That one got right past the outstretched arm of Commodore's third baseman, Carl Schmidt.
I mean, who doesn't love a little foul ball controversy? Saw plenty of it last night at the Red Sox game, didn't we?
Yeah, Red Sox Yankees had a couple of those close calls in that Sox walk-off win. It's just baseball in Massachusetts on these cold June nights. Now in scoring position already, it's Henry Ford at second for Isaiah Lane. First pitch to Lane. Ball inside on the San Diego shortstop, who struck out to end the first inning. Ford was thinking 2 all the way once that ball was inside the third base bag. Now can he score? A hit from Isaiah Lane. The 1-0. Ball outside and low against the shortstop, and Eschman. Again, he's allowed a leadoff man aboard in 2 of the first 3 innings. Now we get 3 of the 4 on that leadoff double from Henry Ford. He's done a good job in working around it. The 2-0. Strike on the inner third against Lane, going with the curveball. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 gone in the bottom of the 4th, and still no score here between the Commodores and the Anglers. Schmidt working so quickly from the stretch position. The 2-1. Check swing for Isaiah Lane, comes up shaking his head, knowing he didn't go around, and he did not. 3 balls, 1 strike now to the San Diego product.
And of course, Eichmann, being one of the best strikeout pitchers in the country, came in with a K9 of 13.7, one of the best in the country. Love to mow him down here.
3-1. Turns into a 3-2. Big swing and a miss on the fastball from Eschman. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Really made his case quickly that he's an arm that was ready for SEC baseball. Will have his chance for the 2026 season after transferring in from Northern Kentucky. The 3-2 pitch. Ball inside and a walk issued to Isaiah Lane. Second of the game for Eschman, the second of the game for either team. With that walk, it puts Lane over on first base and gives an opportunity for Commodores first-year pitching coach Todd Carroll to come out for the first time in the 2025 season. That could be it on exactly 60 pitches for Caden Eschman. Conversation now between Eschman, McCann, and Carroll. I think it'll be Eschman who's 6th in this game, Andrew, as there's not much action for the Falmouth Commodores down the first baseline, the bullpen for visitors at Veterans Field here in Chatham.
First time Eschman has faced any really sort of trouble in this ball game. Daniel Jackson back in that second inning was a leadoff hit by pitch. He stole second, got in scoring position, but Eschman followed up the job with 3 consecutive hitters recording outs. But now with runners at first and second, nobody out, got to look to turn 2 here.
It might be expected in a scoreless game with 1 combined hit, but this is the first time either the Anglers or the Commodores have had 2 runners aboard at the same time. It's Henry Ford off of second after the leadoff double, and now Isaiah Lane off of first base after that full count walk. 2 in the pond for Daniel Jackson, left fielder out of Georgia. Righty on righty matchup, the first pitch. Swing and fouled back out of play down the first base line, way over it, even past the bathroom shack. That's well behind the field of play here at Veterans Field. No balls, 1 strike in this scoreless contest between Falmouth and Chatham. Jackson did get to first base, but we were stranded there on a hit by pitch, lead off the second. The 0-1. Big swing and a miss there for Jackson. Curveball confused him again. No balls, 2 strikes. Jackson wrapping up his second season of play in the SEC, the Georgia Bulldog. In the right-handed batter's box for the 0-2. Ball upstairs and away against Jackson. Appeared in 45 games last year for the Bulldogs, making 36 starts. Andrew, you talk about positional versatility, 5 different positions that Jackson played.
Spent most of his time at catcher, but with a loaded unit like Georgia does, you got to really put him anywhere you can find him.
Yeah, with patience like that, that's what you got to get some at-bats for. It's a ball that goes outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes on that one. Again, 2 anglers on base for the first time tonight. Commodores haven't had that either. Ford off of second and Lane off of first. 2-2. Swing and fouled again back on it over the first base dugout. So the righty swinging, Daniel Jackson, just laid on it a few times so far here against Eschman.
also no stranger to Chatham as well, was here for just a short stint, just 4 games last year. Only 16 plate appearances, had a sub-200 average, looking to reverse the tide here in 2025.
A big theme for the Commodores under first-year field manager Jared Saltolomakia. Making their return to the Cape. 2-2 from Eshwin. Ball, curve ball is fouled back again over the first baseline. It looked like it was Jackson who was sitting on the off speed there, and it works out, but just fouled back a little late. Forward, a big lead off of second base, no one holding him on there. Same for Isaiah Lane over at first. 2 on for Daniel Jackson. Here's the 2-2 again. Swing and a miss. This one in the dirt, but it's Jackson who goes around for the strikeout. This time it's Eshwin with his 7th strikeout, and a big moment for the first out in the bottom of the 4th. I like that response from Eshwin after the 2 runners aboard for Chatham.
Absolutely do, and especially in that at-bat where Eichmann does a good job of keeping the ball low in the zone. You want the right-hander to roll over, ground and double play, but also works out in the strikeout as well. The runners stay at first and second.
Really good pitch for Eshwin that ended up into the left-handed batter's box, which is now where Jackson Freeman stands, the right-hander from Northwestern. First pitch to Freeman, inside and low, by the shoelaces of the Wildcat, who flew out to left fielder John Smith in the second inning. Double play depth for the Commodores. Both shortstop Lopez is back. This one, the one is going to be chopped at over to the first baseman Schmidt. He'll just touch over on first base. The sacrifice will work out, though, for the Anglers as runners move over to second and third. On the ground out by Jackson Freeman. Double play depth doesn't need to work right there, but it's still a ground out for Freeman.
And no doubt the biggest at-batter in the 4th for number 4, Noah Miller. Haven't been a lot of offense in this one, just the 1 hit, no runs for either side. Feels like a chance for the A's to kind of break it open a little bit.
First time the Anglers have had a runner at third base this game. It's in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch to Miller. It's a strike just right down the middle. The simple fastball from Eshwin. Henry Ford at third. Isaiah Lane at second in this scoreless contest between Falmouth and Chatham. Now 2 gone in the bottom of the 4th. Long look over before the 0-1. To strike again, same pitch, same location, and same result for Caden Eshwin. Eshwin has ended 2 of the first 3 innings with a strikeout. Does he have another one here? No balls and 2 strikes with 2 runners on for Chatham. The pitch. It's a strikeout looking for Noah Miller. You mentioned the importance of that at-bat. It's Miller who comes up empty-handed and leaves 2 runners aboard. A big moment there for the Kentucky Wildcat and Caden Eshwin. Chatham scores no runs on 1 hit, no errors, but 2 left on base. This one is still scoreless as we enter the top of the 5th. A pitcher's duel and 1 for you if you like defense. Falmouth 0, Chatham 0. You're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Well, after about as big of a 4th inning strikeout as you'll see from Caden Eshwin to end the 4th inning for Falmouth, the Commodores come back up to bat now in the top of the 5th in this scoreless Cape League opening day action between the Commodores and the Anglers. It's 5-6-7 due up for Falmouth against JT Quinn, now working into his 5th inning of action. He's done 4 innings on just 48 pitches. Oh yeah, and 8 strikeouts as well. Here's Micah New, the center fielder, to get by the Georgia Bulldog and JT Quinn and put up the first run in this game. New from the right-handed batter's box. The first pitch to strike on the outer third for the Marshall center fielder. 8 strikeouts for JT Quinn, and it was New who struck out to begin the 2nd inning. Here you guys to lead off the 4th. The 0-1. Big swing and a miss for Micah New. On the curveball that comes from JT Quinn. It's 9 straight Commodores batters who have been retired. Is New the 10th year. No balls and 2 strikes. Quinn works quickly. The delivery home. New swings and misses on the same pitch in a similar location. How about a 9th strikeout for JT Quinn, who just continues to work into this game.
And I think you hit the nail on the head there, where that bat was almost identical the first time around for Micah New, where he starts off with 2 straight fastballs in the inside, then the slider breaks out, and again, the exact same result.
Both Eschman and Quinn have really had a lot of success going back to the same pitches. Here's the first one to John Smith. It's a ball that just goes low against the former South Alabama outfielder. Now in the transfer portal, looking to make that jump up to Power 5. Smith struck out as well in the 2nd. The 0-1-0. This ball again, this one will go low and away on the righty swinging Smith. Playing left field today, has been busy with a couple of putouts there. Again, we know the power that Smith has in his arsenal. He's already shown it at the Gov. 2-0 to Smith. It's a strikeout. Curveball breaks back inside as Smith actually pulled his back, thinking that he might need to get out of the way of that pitch. First strike in this at-bat from Quinn. 2 balls, 1 strike. 1 gone on top of the 5th. Look down, and the delivery from Quinn. This one's a ball low and away again for Quinn. He hits his spots, but hits them consistently, and that one he's hit consistently in this at-bat for a ball. Hitter's count, which we haven't seen too much of today for Falmouth. 3 balls and 1 strike to John Smith. Look down, and the deep breath before the delivery for Quinn. This one's spiked away, and it is a walk that's issued. 5-pitch walk to John Smith, who's on board. First time a leadoff batter, no, not the leadoff batter, New struck out, and Smith, the 1-out walk. He'll be off of first base now for Justin Osterhaus. First walk of the day. 2nd runner on base for Falmouth. For that error for Dave McCann. Had him on 2nd and stranded from 3rd. Osterhaus from the left-handed batter's box. Big lead over at first for Smith. Quinn looks down, delivers a 1 home. Smith stays. It's a strike taken from Osterhaus on the inner 3rd. Action in the Commodores bullpen. Lefty warming up. Looks like it'd be Connor Lynn. We'll get confirmation on that in 1 moment. The 0-1. It's ball inside. It gets away from the catcher and Miller. Smith easily makes that turn from first over to 2nd. Now into scoring position with 1 gone in the top of the 5th inning. Miller working on the connection with his pitcher and JT Quinn. Puts John Smith over at 2nd base. Osterhaus now sees a 1 ball, 1 strike count. 1 gone on top of the 5th, and still no score between Falmouth and Chatham. Quinn shakes off 2 signs to his battery mate and Noah Miller. Takes a long look over at Smith. The 1-1 home. Osterhaus fouls it back out of play. Lefty swinger just late over towards the 3rd base line and out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Osterhaus. So we're looking to bring that, again, positional versatility to Rob Vaughn at Alabama. First of 2 straight Crimson Tide batters in this Falmouth order. Smith at 2nd. The 1-2 to Osterhaus. Check swing and appeal over At third base, it is Joe Gravina, who says he does not go around. These batters are starting to see more pitches out of JT Quinn.
And only 61 on the day for the Georgia Bulldogs, so he's been quite effective, but in this inning we've seen a little bit of longer at-bats from Smith and Osterhaus.
Schmidt that second, the 2-2. Osterhaus broken bat, looper down the third base line, down for a base hit. Smith takes the turn around third base, he'll get home safely. Osterhaus rounds first, and that is how your first run is scored for your 2025 Falmouth Commodores. An RBI single on the broken bat. Take it the other way for Justin Osterhaus. John Smith scores, and this is a 1-0 Commodores lead in the top of the fifth. First hit of the game as well for the Commodores comes courtesy of the newest Alabama Crimson Tide, Justin Osterhaus, and now his future teammate and Coleman Mizell steps up for the second time tonight. The lefty looking to avenge a strikeout earlier to JT Quinn. First pitch to the designated hitter in Mizell. It's a ball outside and upstairs against Mizell, who struck out looking to begin the third inning. Another big lead for Osterhaus over at first base, the 1-0. This one's inside, it doesn't break into the zone for Quinn. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 gone on top of the fifth. You know the power that Osterhaus has, but that one just was able to not get jammed at. And puts it over the third baseman, Travis Sanders' head, as it's a quick conversation now at the mound with Quinn and the Falmouth pitching, and the Chatham pitching coach. It's Jay Powell who has a quick conversation on the mound between Quinn, his catcher, Noah Miller. Powell, an 11-year MLB reliever himself. Longtime coach, his first year, though, in Chatham. So this game finally with a score. Score with a run on the board. Commodores up 1-0 over Chatham after the RBI single from Justin Osterhaus. Now a look and throw over at Osterhaus. That one almost got away from the first baseman and Jake Hanley. Osterhaus back in safely for his Crimson Tide counterpart, Coleman Mizell in the left-handed batter's box. The 2-0. Before that, it's another look over and throw to Osterhaus. That one is a lot closer on a good throw to Hanley, but it's Osterhaus still over at first safely. Slow tan bat over Mizell's left shoulder. She looks in for the 2-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss on the outer third for Mizell. Just behind on the fastball from JT Quinn. 2 balls and 1 strike now. 1 gone on the top of the fifth. That was via the Micah New strikeout to begin the inning. Since then, 2 straight runners on for Falmouth. The 2-1. Ball upstairs and outside again against Mizell. Hitters count for the Commodores and Mizell. 3 balls and 1 strike. Is some action as well going on in the Chatham bullpen. We'll get a name and number to you on that in just a second. The 3-1. Strike right down the middle against Coleman Mizell. Count runs full between the pitcher JT Quinn, designated hitter Coleman Mizell. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 gone in the top of the 5th inning. JT Osterhaus, about a 2.5-foot lead off of first base. Held on there by Hanley. A throw over to Hanley. 3rd time Osterhaus has been tested at first. He's in safely again. Full count to Mizell. Osterhaus stays. Chopped on the ground over to the 3rd baseman and Sanders. Over to second for 1, over to first. And not in time. The fielder's choice takes Osterhaus off the base paths and puts Coleman Mizell over at first. 5-4. They couldn't get the 3 in time, though. That would have been a inning-ending double play after the Commodores played a 1 in the 5th. Instead, it's 2 outs now for the 9-hole hitter and Antonio Morales.
Just a little bit of a bobble there from Travis Sanders at third base. Was just about even with the bag and took his eye off the ball just a little bit before taking the short way to second.
He's off of first base. First pitch to Morales. Big swing and a miss outside. No balls, 1 strike. Now 2 gone on top of the 5th. Commodores up 1-0 on the Anglers' first lead and first run of the season for Falmouth. Morales from the left-handed batter's box, lefty on righty. The 0-1 from Quinn. Curveball just can't catch the inner part of the zone. It's a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Ryan, that's Charlie Foster warming up in the Chatham bullpen. It's only been a 4-inning most of the time for JT Quinn. That's been his season high, so maybe run out of gas a little bit.
1-1 to Morales. It's a ball upstairs again.
Had 2 performances this year where he went 4 innings, picked up 6 strikeouts in each of those, including in the NCAA Tournament Regional. But now as he's worked into the 5th inning, he's saying things unwind just a little bit after that base hit and the run score.
Again, he's got 9 strikeouts to his credit so far today. 4 2/3 innings pitched. Big swing and a miss again against Morales. Deuce is running wild against number 2 for Falmouth. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 gone. Top of the 5th inning. Coleman Mizell. A modest lead off of first base, just about a stride and a half. JT Quinn, the righty, looks in against Morales. Here's the 2-2. And it will run in and hit Morales' lead right arm. That's why you wear the elbow guard there. So now the Commodores, for the first time tonight, having 2 runners aboard. It's via the Coleman Mizell fielder's choice. And now Antonio Morales gets hit by a pitch at the 9 spot. Bring back up Carl Schmidt and continue this top of the 5th, where the Commodores have already scored the lone run in this game.
And that is the tough thing about having a reliever moving into a starter role like JT Quinn has been, where you see hitters in this lineup again and again, and you know they start to pick up pitches a little bit more and results change a little bit.
First pitch to Carl Schmidt's a ball upstairs against the Cal Golden Bear, who struck out in both of his plate appearances thus far. And you know, Quinn comes out of the bullpen, usually for the Bulldogs. Season high 7 strikeouts this year at Georgia. Really doesn't get as many innings to get that up. The 1-0 to Schmidt. Strike inside that just drops in for JT Quinn. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 gone on the top of the 5th inning. Commodores up 1-0 over Chatham at Chatham. Schmidt, a slow bat over his right shoulder to see the 1-1. He get a 1-2, swing, and empty-handed is Carl Schmidt.
And still, when you're Quinn and you pump that fastball at 95 and you pull the string back with a beautiful changeup like that at 85 and you're sitting fastball as a hitter, it's really tough to adjust to.
It's a double-digit strikeout night for Quinn. The 1-2 with 2 gone. Runners stay, and Schmidt has a 3rd strikeout swinging, but it's the 10th strikeout on the mound for JT Quinn. It might have been, what might have been his last batter facing this one. The Georgia Bulldog allows his first run of the game, but is still continuing to work, and now in his 5th inning of complete. 1 earned run on 1 hit, no errors, but 2 left on base for the Commodores. A 1-0 lead. We finally see a run come across between Falmouth and Chatham. This one still tightly battled, and we have a new pitcher to introduce you to when we get back in the bottom of the 5th. Commodores up 1-0 over Chatham as you're listening to Falmouth Baseball on Cape League TV.
Antonio Morales, outfield/utility from Maryland University, and you're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Into the bottom of the fifth inning, Falmouth up 1-0 over Chatham, and for the play-by-play for the remainder of this opening day contest, I send it over to my partner and friend, Andrew Delapiana.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Bottom five between Chatham and Falmouth here on a beautiful opening day at Veterans Field. Commodores in front 1-0. First time on the bump for Connor Lynn this season. First time on the East Coast as well for the graduate student from Northern Kentucky. First one to meet him is Cole Johnson, the first pitch, and he swings right through the fastball for strike one. Commodores picking up just one hit in the first run of the ball game in the top half of the fifth, thanks to the RBI single by Justin Osterhaus. Lynn, a left-hander, stands in at 6'3", 220 pounds. His 0-1 is a breaking ball inside for ball one. Johnson already 0 for 1 in today's contest. The redshirt sophomore from Austin Peay after a freshman All-American season. 1-1 from the southpaw. Is a fastball right down the heart of the plate, taken for strike two.
How about Lynn? He gets to follow up his former teammate as well, who pitched a great game in Caden Eshman. 4 innings pitched, just 1 hit, 8 strikeouts and 2 walks.
Quite the way to close the book and start off the Cape season for Caden Eichmann, who just committed to Kentucky just over a month ago. Lynn's 1-2, goes to the breaking balls. Johnson swings right through it, and just like that, it's one batter and 1 strikeout for Connor Lynn.
That curve has a lot of dip to it, and Johnson falls victim to the strikeout for the second time tonight. Love that first at-bat that comes from Connor Lynn.
The slider is the best pitch that Connor Lynn likes to utilize. We saw the breaking ball brought out there for out number 1. He's closest to the third base side of the bump as here's Travis Sanders from the righty's batter's box. The first offering from Lynn goes back to the fastball just above the letters for ball 1. Sanders, the redshirt junior from Baylor, fresh off a .335 season with the Bears where he had 25 RBIs. 52 strikeouts, though. He did strike out in his first appearance. The 1-0. Fastball swings right through it. Comes in at 90 miles per hour from the lefty. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 gone in the bottom of the fifth. Commodores in front of the Anglers 1-0 here on a chilly opening day at Veterans Field. Here 53 degrees. Lynn likes the sign from McCann. Kicks and deals. Goes back to the fastball. Swings right through it again for strike 2. That one in the low 90s again at 91. Connor Lynn, one of the oldest players you'll see on the Cape this season. 23 years old. He'll turn 24 in December. Has really been a journeyman. Spent 3 years at Cincinnati before going over to Northern Kentucky. Here's 1-2. Goes to the breaking ball and chop foul behind home plate. Got a piece of the catcher David McCann. And it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sanders, a transfer from Texas Tech. Digs his black cleat end of the righty's batter's box, awaiting the 1-2. Lynn liked the sign from his catcher. Turns and fires. Upstairs and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sanders, strikeout victim number 5 for Caden Eichmann. One of his 8 in total in the game back in the 3rd inning. 2-2 from Lynn. Goes to the breaking ball in the other's batter's box. McCann tried to frame it at the last moment. Didn't get the call he wanted.
That one's going to be a tough frame.
Sanders digs back in, readjusts his blue helmet with the Chatham Anglers logo on it, and awaits the payoff pitch. Here it is. Fastball slap foul behind home plate and hits the netting. Sanders stays alive. Sanders very touted out of high school, drafted by the Sox, the Red Sox that is, back in 2022 in the 14th round. Played 2 seasons at Texas Tech. He had a season-ending injury as a true freshman, but has really turned the page with the Baylor Bears. Another 3-2. Just outside, and it's a 1-out walk for Travis Sanders as he battled all the way back from a 1-2 count.
It's a really good at-bat there for Sanders, who you mentioned earlier in that bat, Andrew. Had the strikeout to kick off the 3rd inning. So going up against one Northern Kentucky former guy into a new one after Linda just striking out Johnson. Sanders battles back for a base runner here with Chatham in the 5th.
Lineup flips back to the top of the lineup, third time around for Ethan Mendoza. Witherston one out. Falmouth leading 1-0 in the bottom of the fifth. It's a lefty on righty matchup with Mendoza digging in from the right side. Lynn, his first offering is a breaking ball, skipped in the dirt, blocked nicely by McCann. Sanders does have some speed over there at first base. He had 5 stolen bases in his first year with the Bears. Mendoza 0 for 1 in this ballgame with a strikeout back in the third. Lynn's 1-0. There's a fastball that's hit on the ground on the right side, controlled by Osterhaus. Goes the short way to second. That one in time, but the turn not quick enough. A close play at second base. But the out is made for number 2 as Lopez had to get over there pretty quickly.
I thought it was going to be a simple fielder choice for Osterhaus, just over to first base with Ken Schmidt. Get at least one runner, but goes for broke and tries to get John Sanders over at second base. I think you're right, Andrew. That was a close play over to Lopez at second. Gets it in time, and certainly no chance for 2.
So Mendoza goes over to first with 2 gone here in the bottom of the fifth. Commodores 1, Anglers nothing here on opening day of the 2025 Cape Cod Baseball League season. Lefty on lefty for Indiana sophomore Jake Hanley as Lynn checks over at first. No play needed for Mendoza as he doesn't even slide back in. Hanley 0 for 2 in the ballgame, a strikeout back and the ground out in the third. The Big Ten freshman of the year put up some unbelievable numbers in his first year in Bloomington, where he hit .333, 73 hits, 14 home runs. Next pitch is a called strike on the outer third. It is 0-1. Lynn takes a check over at first against Mendoza and fires over once more. Back in safely is Mendoza. Hanley, tonight's first baseman as well for the Anglers. Very steady over there at first base. Didn't commit a single error in over 400 chances this season. The odds are in the dirt. Gets away from McCann. He slips up the third base line. That allows Mendoza to reach second. And almost gets around halfway to third as McCann had some trouble getting back to his feet.
I was gonna say that was at least a third of a way there from second to third base on the turn there by Mendoza. McCann not used to, again, working with Connor Lynn, maybe not used to playing at Veterans Field as well as he took a tumble trying to get to the ball that was loose.
Count is 1-1, 2 gone in the bottom of the fifth. Falmouth 1, Chatham nothing. A runner on second and a 1-1 count to Jake Hanley in this lefty on lefty. Lynn from the third base side of the bump. Turns and fires. Goes to the fastball, chopped to the right side. It's controlled by Smith. Going to be a tough play over at first. Hanley beats it out, and he is out. Looked like a moment there that Lynn wasn't going to get there in time, but a good call over there at first by Ryan Demore, and that retires the side. The Anglers do threaten. They get a runner at second, but they leave him stranded in Mendoza. And we are through 5 here from Chatham with the Commodores in front of the Anglers 1-0. We'll be right back for the top of the 6th. You're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. welcome you back to Veterans Field here in Chatham, Massachusetts. Opening day of the 2025 Cape Cod League baseball season. Alongside Ryan Martin, I'm Andrew Delpiana. Commodores in front of the Anglers 1-0. Thanks for sticking with us. New pitcher on the bump for Chatham. It'll be the lefty Charlie Foster who relieves JT Quinn, Ryan.
Yeah, Charlie Foster coming off his first season at Mississippi State, and a Bulldog who didn't see a ton of time, just 11 in a third innings pitch. But Andrew, over that sample size, how about a 1.59 ERA for Foster, one of those younger guys, a 19-year-olds who can hit 98 miles an hour we saw there in Starksville. Excited to see what Foster can do now against the Commodores team up 1-0. And what's been a pitcher's duel, can Foster continue that against this Commodores lineup?
Going to be a tough effort to follow up after JT Quinn goes 5 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts, but currently he's in line for the loss of allowing that run back in the 5th inning because the Commodores, Kid Neishman, Connor Lynn, the 2 guys that were with the Norse of Northern Kentucky this year, have been very impressive. Falmouth, they have 2, 3, 4 due up in this 6th inning, starting with the shortstop, Adrian Lopez. The USC Trojan takes the batter's box, 0 for 2 tonight with a ground out back in the first to strun out one of JT Quinn's 10 strikeout victims back in the 4th. Fresh off a .332 season out in Southern California. First pitch. He goes after it and slaps it foul back to the screen. Foster stands in on the bump at 6'3", 190 pounds. The 19-year-old from Georgia. His 0-1 is a fastball popped up sky high. Gets down the third baseline. Going to be a tough play for Miller, and he does not get it. Just out of his reach in front of the Chatham dugout. Ball took a weird spin at the last moment where Miller had to fall back and wasn't able to see it.
Yeah, that looked a lot similar actually to the error that we saw committed by Daniel Jackson in left field, Andrew. When you go one way and then the ball curves back the other way, and all of a sudden it's at glove height and you can't make the play. Miller was also looking up right into the Veterans Field lighting, but he'll just go down officially as a simple foul ball.
So Lopez gets second life after the misplay by Miller. Always a tough play for those catchers getting away from behind home plate. Foster back on the bump, kicks and deals the 0-2, and slap foul first base side. Lopez will do it again. Lopez wrapping up his first season at USC after transferring over from Long Beach State. Basically saved the Trojans' season in the Big Ten tournament with a 2-run walk-off double. The 0-2 is a breaking ball just outside for ball 1. A good take there from Lopez. Because Ryan, if USC loses that game against Washington in the Big Ten tournament, I don't believe they're playing in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it might not even be in regional contention if they don't have a win like that on its resume.
1-2. It's a fastball slapped down the third base side and corralled by Lane. He'll throw across the diamond in time for out number 1. First action of today's game for Isaiah Lane and his first put at over at shortstop. There's 1 gone in the top of the 6th, with the Commodores leading 1-0 over the Anglers. Big bat of left-hander Kent Schmidt digs in after a phenomenal sophomore season. 5 home runs, 16 doubles, and that was even with missing 20 games during the regular season. First offering from Foster is on the ground foul first base side. And even in Georgia Tech's final game of the season in that regional, Schmidt hit 2 home runs, his first career multi-home run day at the collegiate level, and that was after mashing 19 home runs in his freshman season at Georgia Southern. The 0-1. Swing and a miss right through the fastball once more. Quickly 0-2. Nobody on with 1 out in the top of the 6th. Falmouth 1, Chatham 0. Justin Osterhaus, the lone single, RBI single, that is last inning, coming in, bringing in the only run. The 0-2 from the southpaw is up and in for ball 1.
And that's what you see, Andrew, in the Cape League so early. The pitchers are the best of the best. And remember, these hitters are still getting used to the wooden bats, unlike the aluminum bats that they'll use at their colleges.
Jared Saltomaki, the manager of Falmouth, said there is that adjustment period that you use throughout the week and before the season gets started to try to fix that a little bit. 1-2 fastball right by Schmidt. It's a strikeout, and there's 2 gone in the top of the 6th.
And we saw JT Quinn doing it all night long, so Foster, again, his first inning of work, hits 90 miles an hour on the put-away. Fastball upstairs on Ken Schmidt, who strikes out for the 2nd time tonight.
Cleanup hitter digs in from the left side. That's the catcher David McCann with 2 gone in the top of the 6th. First offering is a fastball that catches the outer corner for strike 1.
Finishing up that point about, getting the bats used to it. You look around the league, Hyannis, Wareham, that's a top 8th game that's just tied at 1. Middle 8 between Katuitt and Orleans. There's a 3-2 Orleans lead. These are going to be low-scoring early games.
The 0-1. Breaking ball on the ground right side. It's corralled by Hanley. Coming over the bag is the pitcher Foster, and he steps on first. And it's 1-2-3 in the 6th for Falmouth. We go to the bottom half of the frame. Falmouth still clinging to a 1-0 lead over Chatham as opening night rolls on here from Anglertown. You're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Here in the middle innings from Chatham with the Commodores in front 1-0. Welcome back to Veterans Field. Alongside Ryan Martin, I'm Andrew Della Piana. Connor Lynn back out for another inning of work for Falmouth, the lefty. Seeing 4 hitters back in the bottom of the 5th, leaving a runner on second stranded. He's scheduled to feed the meat and potatoes of this Chatham lineup in the 6th. 3-4-5 due up, and it starts with the big righty Henry Ford, who stands in at 6'5", 220 pounds. First pitch from Lynn. Starts him off with a fastball, and Ford a little bit late to it. 0-1. Chatham just 2 hits so far in the ball game. One of them coming from Ford with an RB, with a double back in the 4th. Excuse me. The 0-1 goes back to the fastball, catches right at the knees. 2. Henry Ford really known for his power. We saw that in his last at-bat in the 4th. He had 28 home runs, 115 runs across 2 years in Charlottesville, currently in the portal. The 0-2 pitch is up and out, ball 1. Ford a backwards K back in the 1st as well. Not expecting him to spend a lot of time here in Chatham, which, as a draft eligible guy, might be going in the early rounds. 1-2 from Lynn. There's a breaking ball in and out of the glove. McCann gets all the way to the backstop. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And with that in mind, Ford's a guy that Chatham fans, Cape League fans should enjoy seeing while he's still in the Cape. This is a guy you might only see for a week or 2 before he really starts gearing up for that draft this summer.
Lynn likes the sign from McCain. Gives the nod. Turns and fires. Getting a piece of it. Foul to the backstop. Remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. The leadoff hitter for the Anglers here in the bottom of the 6th. Doors in front 1-0 over the Anglers here on opening day. Falmouth starting on the opener tomorrow against Brewster back at the Gov. Should be a fun one. 2-2. Popped up, skied into right field. Morales over to the line, really hustling. Ball drives back and it drops. Morales makes the catch. Looked like it dropped in at the last moment. Morales turning over his body, had to reach over with his right hand, and a loud out number one.
There's been a couple of plays so far today, Andrew. Again, the lighting, the wind, all these factors, the opening day. It feels like both these teams are trying to play like a trick play team that you'll see nowadays where they're making the catches way more difficult than they have to be. Morales going way to his left before screaming over to his right to make the catch at the last second.
Well, an out is an out, and it's number one of the inning as Isaiah Lane, the shortstop for Chatham, from the right side with one gone. His first pitch goes right back up the middle where it came from, line into center for a base hit. Just the third knock of the night for Chatham, and it comes thanks to San Diego's Isaiah Lane.
I don't think we've seen an at-bat like that at all so far today, Andrew. Again, just 4 combined hits between Falmouth and Chatham, but barrel to ball, first pitch up the middle for a single. None of those 4 hits have had to be that easy as Isaiah Lane just made it look there with one gone in the 6th.
One gone, runner on first, bottom 6. Doors 1, Anglers nothing. As here's the righty Daniel Jackson, the left fielder. First pitch from Lynn is a fastball that is skied foul and tailing foul down the first base side and out of the stadium. These two teams currently with the longest active title droughts. Falmouth last winning in 1980, Chatham in 1998. A new era for both these teams. Dennis Cook on the Angler side, first-year manager, and Jared Saltamacchia on the first base side for Falmouth as well. The 0-1 is a breaking ball that's spit foul back behind home plate, 0-2.
So much history for both of these teams since then. Of course, Falmouth coming off an era where it was coached for 26 years by the late Jeff Trundy. We'll have more on him in our home opener tomorrow against Brewster. And then for John Schiffner and the Chatham Anglers, it's been a while since then. Schiff spent a year in Falmouth last year and was part of that 1998 championship team.
Lynn with a long look over at first with Lane standing there after the one-out single. Checks there and delivers home. It's a bouncer, blocked. Did that get a piece of Jackson? It looks like it doesn't, but either way, Lane advances 90 feet up to second. Kind of a weird in-between play where McCann had the ball stopped at Jackson's feet at home plate and wasn't sure if the ball was dead or not.
Yeah, for Connor Lynn, that was the change that he told us a few days ago used to be good and used to be end up where he wants it, a really focal point of him trying to figure out that accuracy so far this season. And that one just gets right in front of the foot of Daniel Jackson.
Either way, there's a runner in scoring position for Chatham. Just a base hit will tie this game. A 1-2 count to Jackson. The pitch is a curveball that's belted into left field, but hooking foul. Best piece of the bat we've seen all night, but Jackson just a little bit too early on the curveball. Jackson definitely known for his ability to power the ball out of the yard. 14 home runs with the Dogs this season, including 3 home runs in the regional round against Binghamton. Count remains 1-2, the pitch. The other way now and foul. Jackson early on the curveball, late on the fastball. What will Lynn go here on another 1-2? Jackson with his right foot all the way back in the righty's batter's box. Laying the runner on second with one gone. Falmouth still in front, 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th. Lynn's 1-2. Goes back to the breaking ball, and it fires it past Jackson for out number 2. A big strikeout. Second for Connor Lynn out of the bullpen.
Better location on that changeup right there. Slows it down to 82. It was about 77 when it spiked in front of the foot of Jackson. Like the difference in location as well for Connor Lynn. We've seen him do that so far through an inning in the 3rd pitched.
So you go from Daniel Jackson to Jackson Freeman, as there's 2 gone in the bottom of the 6th. Lane still the runner on second. Lynn takes a look at him and delivers home. And it's a fastball, swings right through it. 1-0-1 the count. Lynn stands at the third base side of the bump with a lefty on lefty against Freeman. Lynn's 0-1. Breaking ball just clips the outer corner for 0-2. Freeman looking down the first base line saying, I don't agree with that one, Blue. Either way, quickly down, no balls and 2 strikes. Blue out to left back in the second, and ground out to first back in the fourth. The 0-2. Curveball just below the knees. Anglers have left a couple of runners stranded in this one, 5 to be exact, including runners at second and third back in the fourth. Lane in scoring position at second. The 1-2 is slapped the other way, but slicing foul than the third base line. Seen a couple of good pieces on the ball this inning, Ryan, but Chatham, you got to keep them in between the white lines.
It's been to that left field spot for a batter like Jackson Freeman, the lefty swinging right fielder. That's late, or I should say early on the pitch. No, late on the pitch, I should say. Late on the pitch, and then Jackson, the righty swing, was late on it earlier. So just, again, really Glenn fooling them around.
He likes the sign he has from McCann. Kicks and deals the 1-2. Breaking ball sent up the middle. Osterhaus a couple of steps to his right. Easy play over to first, and that does it for the 6. Chatham goes no runs on 1 hit, no errors with the 1 left on base. Another runner stranded in scoring position for the Anglers. Doors remain in front as we go to the final third of this ball game. It's Falmouth 1, Chatham nothing. 7th inning on the way. You're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Authentic Cape Cod dining is right down the road at Jim's Clam Shack. Open seasonally for over 50 years, Jim's Clam Shack features oceanfront views with all of the lobster, shrimp, burgers, and clams you could ask for. Stop by Jim's Clam Shack, located at 227 Quinton Avenue right here in Falmouth, to hit your next meal out of the park. Jim's Clam Shack at 227 Quinton Avenue, Falmouth.
Top of the 7th here from Veterans Field. The Doors in front of the Anglers 1-0 here on Cape League TV. Back inside Veterans Field alongside my partner Ryan Martin. I'm Andrew Del Piana. What a pitcher's duel we've gotten this one. Just 1 run combined between these 2 teams on 3 hits. And these bullpen arms have been impressive, as well as the Anglers look to continue that here in the top of the 7th with Charlie Foster back on the bump for another inning of work. Set to meet New, Smith, and Osterhaus. 5, 6, 7 of the Falmouth lineup. First pitch is up and away to New for ball 1.
21 combined strikeouts as well, Andrew. So, again, these pitchers are working well, but rarely are either teams even putting the ball in play.
Micah New playing 2 strikeouts into that part. He is 0 for the 1-0 and sent behind the screen. Foul for strike 1. New, the rising senior from Marshall, was strong as a sophomore, in his first 2 years at New Orleans, and he translated that to Marshall. 14 home runs, 46 RBIs for the Thundering Herd this season. 1-1. Fastball popped up behind home plate. Going to be a tough play for Miller. Is it going to stay in the yard? It does not. Goes to 1 ball, 2 strikes. Solid crowd in attendance here at Veterans Field.
That crowd, and I was going to say, you hear that wind blowing into it, even our crowd pushing that ball out of play as well, and it's really made some big adjustments so far for balls in play, specifically in the outfield.
Foster ahead in the count 1-2 to Micah New, who's already 0 for 2. Hey, that rhymes. The pitch Swing and a miss at the fastball, and it's 0 for 3 for number 3 with 3 strikeouts. There's 1 gone in the 7th.
The left fielder, number 41, John Smith.
1 out in the top of the 7th. Falmouth 1, Chatham 0. Game 1 of the 40-game Cape Cod League regular season. First pitch to John Smith from the right side. Fastball outside.
It's a long season, yet it also goes by in the blink of an eye. At the same time, these at-bats, hitters need to get used to the wood bats. But
Pitch right down the heart of the plate for strike 1. Falmouth looking to get off to a much better start than they did last year. The first 10 games, Commodores were 2-10, and it's really tough to bury yourself out of that kind of a hole. The 1-1. Smith swings right through the fastball, a hard cut and miss, 89 miles per hour from Foster.
And it was such a talented roster for Falmouth last season. You look at the Oregon State guys, Trent Carraway, Gavin Turley, really a lot of great bats. Gavin Keelan was a middle infield fixture for the Commodores, as well as 5 All-Stars for Falmouth.
1-2. Smith gets a piece of it at the end of the bat. It's 1-2. Offense, defense, it was kind of a mixed season last year for Falmouth. You look at defensively as well. Second worst ERA, and then it wasn't bad at all. 5-3 was your ERA, and the bat just didn't come alive some nights. Another 1-2 on the way. There's a breaking ball that Smith chops foul third base side and foul.
You mentioned that ERA. It's welcome to Cape Cod League baseball, where the pitchers are the best in the country. You get a lot of guys who maybe are more relievers at their Power 5 schools come in and put together big starts. Exactly what we saw with the guy like JT Quinn to Chatham tonight. So the pitching is the best of the best in these summer leagues here as John Smith switches out the bat. But that was the issue, and that's what we were mentioning in our 2025 Commodores roster season preview. There was needed some better pitching. You think you get that. It's a good first start from Eshman and what we've seen from Connor Lynn after.
Really setting the tone for hopefully a good starting rotation for Falmouth this season. Another 1-2. There's a fastball way upstairs. Noah Miller had to reach up with the left hand to even keep that one in his mitt. And Smith back there with a new bat. 2-2 count, 1 gone in the top of the 7th. Falmouth leading 1-0. 2-2. Called strike 3. Smith doesn't think so. And he'll put his head down walking back to the dugout. And he'll have a conversation back. But it won't do any justice as there's 2 gone in the 7th. And now really the only form of offense for Falmouth digs in from the left side. Justin Osterhaus with an RBI single back in the 5th. It's the only run scored in this game and just one of 3 hits by these 2 teams. First offering from Foster. Upstairs above the letters for ball 1.
Yeah, it's rare that you're into the 7th inning of a game, Andrew, and the team that's leading has just a 1 under that H sign on the scoreboard, but it was just that 1 hit for Osterhaus, ended up being an RBI single to put the Commodores up 1-0.
The 1-0. It's a fastball off the end of the bat, third base side, corralled by Sanders, collects and fires over, and it's 1-2-3 in the 7th for Falmouth. Time to stretch here from Veterans Field. Commodores still in front on opening day. It's 1-0 Falmouth after 6.5. We'll be right back to Veterans Field. You're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Whether you own a car, home, business, or investment property, it's critical you keep it secure and protected. Since 1989, friends at Northeast Insurance Solutions have been the trusted insurance agency to serve the Commonwealth. Visit them on the web at insurewithnortheast.com or at their offices, 100 Ledgewood Place in Rockland.
Welcome back to Veterans Field. Take me out to the ball game. A staple here on Cape Cod and the baseball world is general, as that means we've reached the 7th inning stretch with the Doors in front of the Anglers 1-0 here on opening day. Back alongside Ryan Martin, I'm Andrew Del Piano. Connor Lynn back out there for Falmouth. He's been solid so far in his 2 innings of work, allowing just 1 hit, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts, really following the pace of Caden Eschman well, as the Commodores have looked good so far defensively.
I love how he's attacking the zone as well, Andrew. 35 pitches thrown, 24 for strikes for Lynn. Has just given up that 1 hit that we saw Isaiah Lane earn on the first pitch he faced last inning.
First to meet him is Noah Miller, the 7th spot. The first pitch from Lynn. Miller goes after and swings right through it for strike 1. That was pitch number 34 for Connor Lynn, the graduate student from Northern Kentucky. 7, 8, 9 due up in the 7th for the Anglers, looking to create some magic. The 0-1 is a fastball outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Miller is 0 for 2 in the ballgame with a line out to left in the 2nd. Strikeout back in the 4th. The 1-1. Swing and a miss through the fastball once more. Connor Lynn really heating things up. The 1-2 offering. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Just like that, Connor Lynn says good morning, good afternoon, and good night. 1 gone in the 7th.
His 3rd strikeout of the game so far, again, following up what was an 8 strikeout effort for Caden Eschman.
The 8-hitter in the Chatham lineup, as it's Cole Johnson, who already has struck out twice. First pitch from the lefty. Catches the inside corner for strike 1. Lynn from the third base side of the bump. Kicks and deals. Goes to the breaking ball. It's shot. And over at shortstop by Adrian Lopez, jumping up to make the grab, as it was a tough play initially, but Lopez climbing the ladder for out number 2.
And that's some of the defensive proficiencies that we haven't seen so far this season, and what Falmouth struggled with last season as well. Well done there by Lopez at short. Again, a guy who has such positional versatility and making a case to be the shortstop every day for the Commodores.
2 up, 2 down for Connor Lynn in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch to the 9-hitter is a strike. Swing and a miss from Travis Sanders. Walk back in the 5th. Then was taken out at second base after the fielder's choice. Lynn's 0-1. Another fastball right down Main Street quickly, 0-2. And Connor Lynn has had no problems finding the strike zone out of the bullpen.
Up to 42 pitches, 30 for strikes.
Lynn looking for another 1-2-3. 0-2 is a breaking ball. Did Sanders go around? Yes, he did. And it's a 1-2-3 7th for Connor Lynn. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left on base for the Anglers. We go to the 8th. Chatham trailing by 1. The Commodores still clinging to that 1-0 lead as we are through 7. You're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. Well, if you like pitching duels, you've come to the right place on opening night. We are through 7 innings, and Falmouth only ahead 1-0 over Chatham. Back alongside Ryan Martin, I'm Andrew Delpiana here from Veterans Field on a cold opening night, just about below 50 degrees now, past 9 o'clock. 8-9-1 due up in the top of the 8th for Falmouth, starting off with a lefty on lefty with Coleman Mizell. The first pitch is upstairs for ball 1 from the southpaw, Charlie Foster, who has been very solid out of the bullpen so far. Has not allowed a base runner with 3 strikeouts through 2 innings on the job. His 1-0 is a fastball that catches the outer half. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1. Half-hearted swing from Mizell, but he did go around. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mizell 0 for 2 in tonight's contest. A strikeout looking in the 3rd. Fielder's choice back in the 5th. From Hartselle, Alabama. Gets the nickname the Hartselle Hammer. 1-2. Half-hearted swing once more. Did he go around the check down to 3rd? He did not go around. Third base umpire Joe Gravina says he did not. Mizell only batting .229 in his sophomore season with the Crimson Tide, and looking for a couple of long balls this year to get that Hammer nickname back. The 2-2 way up and in. The count runs full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Mizell, a large presence from the lefty's batter's box at 6'3", 230 pounds. Also throws lefty as well. The 3-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. 4 strikeout out of the bullpen for Charlie Foster. And these 2 pitchers continue to mow these hitters down.
Around up to 25 strikeouts as well through just over 7 innings played so far. Mizell again going down via the swinging strikeout.
Another lefty on lefty with Antonio Morales taking his place. First offering is a breaking ball below the knees for ball 1. Antonio Morales, a local from Norfolk, Massachusetts. Went to Roxbury Latin High School not too far away. 1-0. Way upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. Was the number 2 ranked player out of Massachusetts when he graduated. Spent 2 years at Wake Forest before committing last night to Maryland. Grew up a Red Sox fan watching his now manager Jared Saltalamacchia win a ring in 2013. 2-0, up and in again. 3 balls and no strikes to Morales.
An interesting story he told about growing up as a Red Sox fan with Saltalamacchia. Was so young when Saltalamacchia was on the team, didn't even really remember him, but just remembers him as that guy who played well with the long last name.
9, 10 years old, that's a long time ago. The 3-0, he's take all the way, and it's a strike right down Main Street. Morales told us earlier in the week he loves being that undersized guy, only 5'9", 175 pounds. Not a lot of them end up at one of the top-ranked programs in the country at Wake Forest. The 3-1 on the ground, right side. Is it going to get through the hole? It's stopped by Jake Hanley, but Morales is going to beat it out for an infield single. And just the second hit of the ball game for Falmouth, and it's a 1-out single for the 9-hitter.
Yeah, Morales has had a lot of good at-bats so far today. One of just 2 Commodores who has not been struck out yet, and that one, a good piece of hitting for the left-hander to hit it onto the right side of the infield. And then the speed there for Morales has been big for Falmouth this season. And as a University of Maryland student, I'm excited to see that speed at Maryland next.
I think that's a little bit of bias creeping in there from you, my friend.
Just a student.
Maybe just a little bit, but that's all right. Your Terps, they need a little bit of a turnaround.
They do.
Back to the top of the lineup for Carl Schmidt. The first pitch bounced in the dirt, blocked in the catcher's gear of Noah Miller. Got down to 2 knees to keep it in front of him. It has not been a friendly day for Carl Schmidt. 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts, all of them swinging, and all of them have been on the same pitch. It's been a slider. The redshirt sophomore from California. The 1-0 is a fastball that he gets a piece of and cranks foul behind home plate. Top of the 8th, 1-0 Commodores. 1 out with a runner on first, a 1-1 count to Schmidt. The transfer from Texas A&M, his first year in the ACC along with the Golden Bears. The 1-1. On the ground, up the middle. It's controlled by Mendoza. The flip on to short for one. Back to first in time. It's a double play. 4-6-3 equals 2, and that ends the inning in the top of the 8th. It's no runs on one hit, no errors, with none left on base for the Commodores. Falmouth still in front 1-0. 6 outs away from victory number 1 in 2025. Things roll on here from Veterans Field. We'll take a short break. You're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
Bottom of the 8th here from Veterans Field. Falmouth in front 1-0 here on opening day. Ryan Martin, Andrew Del Piano back with you here on Cape League TV, and it has been a defensive battle indeed. And Connor Lynn, the pitcher right now for Falmouth, doing a great job out of the bullpen, keeping the Anglers off the board. After a great start from Kay Neishman, who had 8 strikeouts, 1 hit allowed in 4 innings. Lynn out of the bullpen has also been impressive. 4 strikeouts in 3 innings with just the 1 hit allowed. But he does face the top of the lineup for Chatham. Mendoza, Hanley, and Ford scheduled to hit. Mendoza from the right side. The first offering from Lynn is sent back to the screen foul. Don't know if we really expected this low scoring as it is. Chatham was one of the better teams last year in ERA. Of course, new teams, different season, but it's been impressive so far what we've seen from combined from these 4 arms. The 0-1 from Lynn is a breaking ball up and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, it seems like a broken record this game as there's 4 combined hits in this one, but there's something to be said, right, about the best pitching collegiately come to the Cape, and the batters still getting used to wooden bats, but a 1-0 game with this many strikeouts, that's even an up notch.
1-1. Jaws clips the outer half. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You're up to a 26 combined strikeouts. They just keep adding up. And again, the Northern Kentucky former Northman and current Northman Lynn, 7 innings combining for 12 strikeouts for the Commodores.
Here's 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Second strikeout of the night for Mendoza, and Connor Lynn continues to take care of these Chatham hitters. One gone in the bottom of the 8th. Falmouth 1, Chatham nothing. Couple scores from around the Cape Cod Baseball League. Katuitt in front, 4-3 in the bottom of the 10th. How about the Harbor Hawks? 7-1 over the Gatemen in the bottom of the 8th. Couple of final games. The first pitch to Hanley. Swings right through the fastball. Brewster taking down YD 3-2 after 8 innings. And then Harwich, the defending champions, picking up a victory on opening night, 7-5 against the Bourne Braves. Lynn's 0-1 goes to the breaking ball. Beautiful drop on that 12-6, 0-2.
How about the 2 teams that look like they haven't missed their offense in that championship rematch, Andrew? You mentioned the 7-5 win for Harwich over Bourne. Highly contested battle.
0-2, swing and a miss at the curveball once more. It's a drop, third strike. Easy play from McCann over to first. And how about Connor Lynn continues to cruise. That is strikeout number 6 for the lefty from Northern Kentucky. who just looks ultra confident on the bump right now.
Something about those Norse pitchers, it looks like. Between
Norsemen?
Norsemen.
Is that the right term?
It was Norsemen if they're one, Norse if they're together, I heard pregame Ben Haller was telling us. Ashman, 4 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts, and then Lynn now 3 2/3 with 6.
Starts another batter off with a strike, Henry Ford, who's also strike out in this ball game back in the first. Third member of our crew, Ben Haller, will join us post-game as well. Saw him earlier on opening the door. 0-1. Another fastball right through Ford. Pitch 51 for Connor Lynn. He's still pumping in 90.
We just have to talk to one of these Norse pitchers as well with how well they've been doing on the Chatham mound.
Lynn looking to clean things up once more in the 8th. Another 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Connor Lynn out of the bullpen has been unbelievable. His 7th strikeout in 4 innings of work out of the pen. And Falmouth in front 1-0 as we go to the 9th. Commodores with some momentum, looking for a little bit of insurance on the offensive end. You're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
The 99 Restaurant and Pub is proud to be a sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League this summer. Visit your local 99 and try their famous colossal lobster rolls, piled high on grilled brioche and served either hot and buttered or with just the right amount of mayo and celery to go along with the fries and coleslaw. Visit your 99 restaurant this summer today. You gotta love the Nines.
From Veterans Field, Falmouth 1, Anglers nothing. It has been low scoring throughout, a combined 29 strikeouts between 4 pitches, 4 combined hits, and just, of course, the 1 run allowed. Back with Ryan Martin, Andrew Delpiano with you here on opening night. And this has been a pitching showcase, especially from Connor Lynn, who has been ultra impressive. 7 strikeouts out of the bullpen. Hopefully his team can give him a little bit of insurance, though, here in the top of the 9th. 2, 3, 4 due up for the Doors. It's Adrian Lopez, the shortstop, who gets the first cracks in the 9th. First pitch swings right through the fastball. Charlie Foster back out there for another inning on the job, looking to keep this a 1-run game to give his offense a chance in the 9th. The 0-1. Another cut on and miss. Quickly 0-2 to Adrian Lopez, who has struck out in this ball game back in the 4th. Also a pair of groundouts as well for the USC Trojan. Digs right back into the righty batter's box. 0-2 from Foster. It is a cold strike 3 on the outer half. 3 pitches, 1 out for Adrian Lopez, and that was easy.
Really good pitch there for Foster. Again, we mentioned how great he was at Mississippi State with a 1.59 ERA. Really got those strikeouts numbers as well. 17 and just over 11 innings pitched. Gets one there on Lopez, and that's been the story of the game so far. We've only said it maybe just a few times between these two teams.
Oh, there's only been a combined 30 strikeouts now between 4 pitchers. That's pretty good. Lefty on lefty, Kent Schmidt against Foster. First offering is a called strike. Schmidt also has a pair of strikeouts in this one, both swinging. That one came in the 4th, the other back in the 6th. Foster from the first base side of the bump, kicks and deals. Schmidt fouls it back towards us behind home plate. catches a light pole and back into the field of play.
Talked about how great the pitchers have been so far. Might be a new Falmouth pitcher coming into the 9th. It's Rhode Island pitcher Joe Sabbath getting loose.
Falmouth would like a little bit of insurance here, clinging to that 1-0 lead since the 5th. The 0-2 pitch is below the knees outside. 1 ball and 2 strike to Kent Smith. Rising junior from Georgia. Been his first year at Georgia Southern, sophomore year at Georgia Tech. I think he likes the state where they make a lot of pitches. 1-2. Schmidt pops it up. Shallow center field. Backing up is Lane, the shortstop, but he's called out by Ford a couple steps over for out number 2. We haven't seen a lot of balls reach the outfield today, Ryan. It's been mostly, as we've mentioned all throughout the broadcast, plenty of swing and miss.
And that wind blowing in from, it was right field. Now it's kind of turned into behind the first base dugout for the Commodores.
First pitch to David McCann. Change up, outside, ball 1.
Some of the best contact that we've seen so far has come from the anglers in that half inning where it was just the anglers spraying foul balls towards left field.
Luckily for Falmouth, none of those ended up in fair territory. The 1-0 from the Mississippi State Bulldog is popped up over the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. David McCann, one of 3 talented catchers on the roster this year for Falmouth. You'll see Bear Harrison from Texas A&M, Mark Utrani, who's currently in the transfer portal, also in the mix, but Jared Soltomaki deciding to go with McCann for game number 1. The 1-1 is just below the knees for ball 2, and as a catcher in college, it seems like a pretty good destination to play for a former World Series champion as your manager.
No, it certainly does. That's one of the narratives we haven't mentioned yet, but certainly will throughout this season. These 3 guys, the leadership and what they'll learn under Soltomacchio, huge for their career.
2-1, upstairs, ball 3.
Again, not only is Soltomacchio, he's not a freshly retired MLB catcher.
Of course not,
He's been away from the game playing, but around the game coaching for so long. So you get that mix of the 12-year playing career as a catcher, but also someone who knows how to coach and teach others everything he learned.
3-1. McCain swings right through the fastball, comes in at 92 miles per hour. Throw a little back from Miller is short. 1 hops, and Lane has to retrieve it a couple steps behind the mound. But Soltomacchio, not his first head coaching gig, is currently the head coach at the Kings Academy down in Florida. Also spent a couple of seasons with the Bourne Braves, 3 years as an assistant head coach there. 3-2. McCain swing and a miss right through the fastball. Strike 3, out number 3. Last chance for the Anglers coming up in the bottom of the 9th as Falmouth goes 1-2-3 in the top half. Falmouth 3 outs away from a victory to start 2025. Can the Doors wrap it up? You'll have to find out on the other side here. You're listening to Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV. 1-0 Falmouth as we go to the bottom of the ninth here from Veterans Field alongside Ryan Martin. I'm Andrew Del Piano. First-year head coach Jared Saltalamacchia in his first game as a head coach decides to go to Joe Sabbath out of the bullpen to close things down, and that's a pretty good arm to trust as he was magnificent at Rhode Island this season, Ryan.
He really was. A 3.95 ERA through 41 innings, striking out 43 batters, an 8-10 second-team selection for a URI team, Andrew, that ended up winning the 8-10. The Rams really had a great season there in that conference. Now makes the short drive over to the Cape, and Falmouth, his first appearance, looking for that big one inning and preserving a 1-0 Commodores lead.
Sabbath led the Rams with 8 saves on the season. That was top 10 in a single season for Rhodey, and looking to close the door here on opening day for Falmouth. 4, 5, 6 due up for Chatham, starting with the righty Isaiah Lane. First pitch from Sabbath is ball below the knees. That fastball coming in at 92 miles per hour. Stands in at 6'2", 195 pounds from the right side of the bump. Had 28 appearances out of the bullpen this past season. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. Goes back to that fastball, almost the same spot, but a different result against Lane. Lane has reached twice safely in this ball game, a walk back in the 4th, and just one of the 2 hits for the Anglers in the 6th inning. The 1-1 to number 1. Fastball right down the heart of the plate as Sabbath continues to pump him in. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lane placed his bat all the way down to home plate and gets ready for the 1-2 from Sabbath. Here it is. Breaking ball stays alive, barely gets a piece of it on the curveball. He was sitting on that fastball, got his hands down at the last second to spoil it. Sabbath gets the sign from McCain, gives a nod, comes set at the belt. Turns and fires. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Fooled him with the breaking ball down in the dirt. It's 1 gone in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, your first 2 pitchers of Eschman and Lynn each combined for 15 strikeouts across the first 8 innings. So how about Joe Sabbath coming in? First batter he faces, what else but a strikeout for the URI Ram.
1 gone in the bottom of the 9th. Nobody on base. Falmouth leading 1-0 in what's been, I think, low-scoring affair would be an appropriate term to use here.
It's a decent way to call it.
Daniel Jackson from the right side. First pitch. Half-hearted swing, fouled towards the first base side, ends up in the Commodores dugout. A couple of kicks at the ball from head coach Jared Saltalamacchia. Not sure what that one was about. Either way, Sabbath from the right side of the bump. Checks his wrist, likes the pitch, looks in, agrees on a sign. Turns and fires. Swing and a miss. Fastball in at 90 once again. Jackson has struck out in his last 2 at-bats. Just like a majority of his team tonight. Falmouth has combined for 16 strikeouts. Do I hear 17? The 0-2. Yes, you do. Swing and a miss from Daniel Jackson. 2 up, 2 down in the bottom of the 9th. Falmouth 1 out away from a victory.
On opening day, prime time moments, and these pitchers know they're ready for the prime time, whether it's Eschman, Lynn, and now Sabbath mowing down Chatham batters at Veterans Field here in Chatham.
Last chance for the Anglers is the lefty Jackson Freeman, who was the only Angler to not strike out in this game. Sabbath's first pitch, just outside of the black. Was looking to clip that outside corner. 1 ball, no strikes. Freeman 0 for 3, a fly out to left and a pair of groundouts both to the right side of the infield. The 1-0 from the Rhodey Ram, just below the knees. 2-0. Sabbath was a huge strikeout pitcher with Rhode Island this season. 43 strikeouts in 41 innings of work. A true workhorse for the Rams, making the first NCAA tournament in 9 years. 2-0. Fastball swings right by it once more. 91 miles per hour. His favorite athlete growing up wasn't even a pitcher. It was Mookie Betts. Also, he was a Yankees fan growing up as well. Don't know how those two work. 2-1. Can't get the other half. Once again, it's a hitter's count. Couple of groans from the Falmouth dugout. They thought he got that one. But it's 3-1 to Jackson Freeman, who was third on Northwestern this season with 14 doubles. Would love one here in the bottom of the ninth, the last chance for Chatham. Here is the 3-1. It is a called strike. Freeman was about to put the bat down, but he has to dig back in. Falmouth 1 strike away from an opening day win. Full count, 2 outs, nobody out. Falmouth leading 1-0 in the bottom of the ninth. The payoff pitch popped up behind home plate. Is it playable for McCann? Couple steps behind the dish. He makes the grab, and the Commodores shut out the Anglers in Game 1 of the 2025 season. Falmouth rides its arms to 17 strikeouts, and the Commodores take down the Anglers 1-0 to kick off the summer of 2025. What an effort from this Commodores pitching staff, Ryan. From start to finish, it was a dominant effort. Only 2 hits allowed.
There's only 2 hits allowed, and the Commodores themselves only got 2 hits in response. But hang on, the biggest of moments, really impressed. You go down in chronological order, Sabbath coming in. He was a closer at Rhode Island, and he doesn't skip a beat in his first appearance with Falmouth. Puts together a hitless inning, and then going right before that, what we saw from Connor Lynn, equally as impressive. He goes 4 innings, just allowing 1 hit, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. He got 4 from Lynn, and the first 4 from Edgman really set the tone of this game for me, Andrew. He goes 4 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. 17 overall, you mentioned, for the Commodores. This is a pitching staff that, as of now and as of the roster right now, has no returners from last season. There's a lot of guys who don't have Cape League experience at all, but you couldn't tell here from Veterans Field. A gritty win, and you can see these guys, they bounce out of the dugout the minute that was caught in foul territory by David McCann. This is the start of what could be a really good pitching and defense for the Commodores this season.
And what is the biggest thing that Jared Saltomaki had talked about yesterday when we met with them for the first time? He said, guys, I'm looking at 2 things going into 2025, pitching and defense. That was on full display today. 2 hits allowed, no errors, the 17 strikeouts. That's what this team is going to be built on this season, and a huge tip of the cap to Jared Saltomakia for getting that victory in this one. We joined just a little bit by Ben Haller and a player from the Commodores after this victory. But once more, your final in Game 1 of 2025. Falmouth takes it 1-0 over Chatham. And it feels like a big win for this team overall, in the sense that Chatham had one of the better rosters coming into this one, as so we thought. But Chatham's pitching was really stifled by how important the Falmouth hitting was as well.
Gotta remember, this is Game 1 of 40. Things can change vastly for both of these teams, as the Chatham Anglers having a long team huddle right by third base right now. But for Falmouth, you can look at this optimistically. This is a great win for the Commodores, something that really, you didn't see this from Falmouth last season. There was not a lot of 1-0, 2-0 close, tight wins for the Doors. All of a sudden, under first-year field manager Jared Saltomakia, congratulations to Coach Salty. 1 game, 1 win as a Cape League field manager.
Well, it's only fitting that his catcher and David McCann made the catch in the final ball, immediately stuck it in his back pocket, and we'll get it to Coach victory. We're going to take a short break here on Cape League TV, but when we come back, Ben Haller will join our player of the game as the Commodores win this one 1-0 over the Anglers. Stay with us. welcome you back to Veterans Field after Falmouth gets a 1-0 victory over Chatham to open 2025. And now joining us is our third member of our crew, Ben Haller, who's joined alongside some star pitchers from Northern Kentucky in this one. Ben, how about the performance from those two?
Neither.
Definitely looking at you, though.
Thanks, guys. Caden Eschman, Connor Lynn, a shutout victory for Falmouth Commodores in opening day against the Chatham Anglers. I'll start with you, Caden. You got to start 4 innings, 8 strikeouts for you. What was working for you today?
Yeah, I mean, I just had all my pitches. They were all good. Could have executed a little better in some. Got behind a couple guys, but overall I thought it was pretty good. And obviously 8 strikeouts in 4 innings. Couldn't ask for too much more, but yeah, it's definitely stuff to take from and improve. But overall, it's a really good game.
Connor, efficiency was the name of the game for you. I think it was only 54 pitches in your 4 innings of work. No runs for you as well. Looks like you had that breaking ball working well.
Yeah, it was working well. Got ahead early with the fastball and just worked that breaking ball off of that, and it was working.
I'll have a question for both of you. You guys were college teammates a season ago at Northern Kentucky. I'll start with you, Caden. When you go 4 innings with a really good start like that, and then you see a teammate like that coming out in relief, how good does it feel to see him give you 4 innings?
Feels great. We have a thing in Northern Kentucky that we call Mudita, just being happy for other people's success. Something we preach a lot, especially with the culture and the program there. So it's really good to see somebody like my teammate right there just go out there and do really good.
Connor, this is the top of the lineup here in Chatham. Very talented, a lot of success at the colleges for all their respective hitters. How much did that play into your mindset when attacking, or was that something you didn't really think about?
It's nothing I really think about. I just think about getting ahead early, obviously in the count, and using my stuff to my advantage, really.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Caden Eschman, Connor Lynn, co-players of the game. Back to you guys.
Hey, thanks so much, Ben. Definitely a lot of celebration of those two successes. Eichmann, Lynn combined for 8 scoreless innings, allowing just 2 hits, 3 walk, 15 strikeout from the Norse, Ryan. I mean, what else can you say about those two other than setting the tone in Game 1? They did just that.
Yeah, North Kentucky sending a couple
Stand
of guys
up
here to the Commodores. Impressively done, but yeah, this is exactly what you're talking about. You can't make a better opening day for this pitching staff, this defense. How about that catch from Adrian Lopez we saw at shortstop? Even a guy like Antonio Morales in right field who had to battle the lights, battle the wind here on a windy, cold day in Chatham. Really impressed by the defense and really impressed by the pitching staff. Now you look ahead. You got a matchup of, you had the championship rematch today in Harwich between Harwich and Bourne. And then tomorrow, the home opener on Father's Day for the Commodores. It's a matchup, Andrew, of the 2 worst teams in the Cape League last season between the Commodores and Brewster. But now it's 2 teams starting 1-0. They'll have to battle tomorrow at the Gov. It was Brewster who picked up a 3-2 win over YD in just 8 innings today at home in Brewster. I'm excited, pumped for that home opener, and Commodores fans should be too after this 1-0 win at Chatham.
A pair of 1-0 teams will see the field from Gov Furler Field for the first time tomorrow. A 6 o'clock start between the Whitecaps and the Commodores. On the air, we are with Open the Door at 5:50. We will see you then. But Falmouth takes it in Game 1 of the 2025 season, 1-0 over Chatham. We will see you tomorrow night from the Gov.